What's up, guys? Thanks for joining in. We're coming live from Tel Aviv, near the hostage square for... Let's just fix all this up. We're just getting our audio ready. So yeah, coming to you live from Tel Aviv in Israel at a, I guess I would say it's an anti-government protest. Also a bring the hostages home protest. So we're just getting this going before we're joining in on the protest here. This is a weekly gathering, and yeah, it's about stopping the war. Just try to get some footage of people that are just gathering here.
There's a bit of an argument with, just so you understand the context here, somebody walked past who was not too happy about the protesters who are here, which are predominantly left-wing protesters that are anti the government. Somebody said something along the lines, from what I can hear him telling the police, that he is supporting Hamas. And as we arrived here, there was a bit of an exchange of words, but police are asking him not to engage with people. This is like a special police unit, which are like the riot squad, essentially. But even here, you see, unlike in Melbourne, they don't come all dressed in the riot gear here. I imagine that it's a lot tamer than some of the protests we see in Melbourne. But we'll take you for the ride tonight, and you'll get to experience it with us. I'm going to do what you guys should be doing now, whoever's up at this time. What are you doing up at this time? But for those of you around the world, make sure to smash that like button, help the algorithm, and share the stream. This will be raw, unedited. You get a behind the scenes of how we create and produce our full video reports, bloopers and all. Share the stream while you can. I'm going to head to where it starts. I might actually try chat to this man in a minute because he sounds like he's passionate.
Yeah, we'll chat with him.
Just give me a minute.
So yeah, definitely guys, share it out. We've already seen a lot of anti-war signs. Some people in the comments are already saying this is an anti-Bibi protest. So we'll bring you all of that here from Tel Aviv today. Guys, if you're joining in from Australia, what are you guys doing up so late? I think it's about 3 a.m. in Australia, so if you're up this late, what are you guys up to? Why aren't you in bed? I guess it is Saturday night though, so technically it makes sense that people might be staying up late.
If you're after a couple of drinks, you better have a kebab in your hand.
Yeah, depending on how how big this protest is, Avi, we might be streaming for a few hours. So
yeah,
if you're joining in, guys, get a couple of drinks ready and be ready to join us for a few hours at least. We'll be streaming.
Get involved in the chats, which is scrolling on the screen. Super chats, we'll read them all. Hopefully, as long as we don't have streaming problems. That's we have had those problems. And remember, if it cuts, just probably best to go to the YouTube and see either the live will continue or a new live will start. We've realized that some of this is beyond our control. There's another piece of software that we can pay for that'll stop that from happening, but obviously it's a fair bit expensive. So if you guys support our work here, IsraelUncut.com is where you can see all our filed reports and actually support our time here on the ground. I'm just doing the final last shares.
Yeah, and if this is the first time you guys are joining in on IsraelUncut.com, you'll be able to catch up on all of our other previous live streams as well. We did a tour in the old city of Jerusalem. That was a lot of history there, a lot of intriguing things from our guides, and you can catch up on that as well as all the other reports that we've been doing while spending time here in Israel. So yeah, israeluncut.com, guys, and you can get in on all the action that we've been covering while we've been here. Avi, you're almost done sharing?
Almost done. And then I'm going to head to this guy because he seems like he was passionate and was going to give us a decent interview and an insight into who these protesters are.
Definitely. I mean, compared to the police in Melbourne, the police here do seem a lot more chill, a lot more relaxed, at least for now.
All right, let's do this.
Let's go. I'll switch to the...
Come. Hey, how you doing, sir? Do you speak English?
Yes.
Can I ask, because we did
Yes,
walk
but,
on.
but without
You don't want to see the camera?
No.
Oh, no dramas.
Sir.
All good. We were just interested because we saw the...
Okay, but you can speak with her, for example.
Okay. No. Can we talk to you from behind?
Do you want to speak English? Do you want to interview?
Oh, it's all right. We'll walk to the protest. I just saw you. Australian. It's an Australian.
He will talk to you.
Okay. How you doing?
Wait, before. Who are you? And
We're from an Australian.
Australian.
Yeah.
Okay.
What are you guys doing here?
Well, we want to bring another voice which says that the war did not start on October 7th. This is a long, long struggle, and we have to come up with a solution. The continuing genocide that Israel is committing is a long-standing practice of the Zionist movement since it started. And every time Israel thinks that they would go crazy and they would do even worse thing to the Palestinians, that will somehow deter the Palestinians for demanding their rights. Only political solution is viable. The continuation of the war is atrocious. It kills innocent people on a daily basis, and we have to put an end to it. We stand here and we say the occupation of the West Bank and Gaza before it is the essence of why there is a war. And that we say we have to look at the occupation and understand that's the cause of the struggle, the continuation of Israeli government displacing Palestinians, killing Palestinians, brings more killing and more killing.
So there's a lot you said there. So just out of interest, you say the genocide didn't start on October 7. You're saying that we hear this a lot in Australia. The genocide started when?
Well, it's playing with words. People have been displaced and killed since the beginning of the Zionist movement. Israel hides what happened in 48 and the atrocities that were committed by the beautiful Israeli Zionists that created the countries. It's one big myth. It happens all through the years, and we have to put an end to it.
Because I've never heard this from an Israeli. Are you anti-Zionist Israeli? How does that work?
Well,
Let's make it sure. We want to have our homeland. We want to have our country.
So then you are a Zionist.
no.
No, but we think I want to have Israel as my state, as my place, but I'm not a Zionist, no.
Can you define? I'm confused. Can you define what is a Zionist then?
Well, we are fighting for the soul of the state of Israel, and there are two ways to look at it, and there is all the extremists that think that only continue in war, and we have to be in war.
Sure, but what's the difference? Because the audience would be, I'm confused.
It's fine.
So somebody who believes, so I've always understood the word Zionist. It's been abused, and it's been, it seems, the definition has kind of shifted for people that don't like Israel. But the true definition of Zionism is somebody who just believes in the right to the Jewish people to have autonomy in their ancestral homeland.
We believe,
Is that right or not?
It's very...
But with common boundaries, not that we, how will I say
continue
it?
the occupation and conquer more and more land and we extend the boundaries of our existence on behalf of the Palestinians. We have to, this place, it's two people.
Two states for two people, Palestine and
So
Israel.
most of the people overseas who talk like how you're talking in Australia, they don't like Jews and they don't believe that there should be any Jews here at all. Does it feel odd? And
We don't. You see, if we don't come up with a peace.
I understand that.
I'm saying, in the end, when we think we can displace everybody else in the name of our defense, what would happen when they will want to displace us?
But they do want to displace you.
We want to have a peaceful solution where all people are equal, and we cannot control the area by power and more power and more power under the leadership of Donald Trump and its crazy ideas about controlling the Middle East.
So I saw when I first got here before we were filming, there was a man that walked past and said you guys are essentially doing Hamas's work for them. Now, so what would you say to critics who would argue that essentially Hamas is prolonging the war because they have what many would describe as useful idiots that make their argument for them and that are creating division within Israel and an opposition to the government instead of opposing the terrorists that annihilated Israel?
We all oppose terrorism, but there is terrorism on both sides. And in the meantime, it's the Netanyahu government that is being opposing any kind of political settlements because Bibi Netanyahu wants to keep his power, and prolonging the war is just another way for him not to go into election and not to be accounted to what happens. We don't believe in violence. We don't think violence is a solution, but the violence is promoted by Israeli military over the Palestinian people, over 70,000 dead Palestinians. It's like, what's going on? We are putting down buildings because they are high in Gaza. What happened? For what purpose? The only purpose of this war right now is to keep
Revenge. As revenge is the worst motive for activity in the world.
Did you guys support any response to October 7?
Well, we are all against it. What happened in the October 7th is unbelievable. It's terrible. It's terror. It's pure terror. It's okay. We have to, how do you say, leganot it? Of course we are against it, but what we say, the difference is that we say that history didn't begin then. And we have to see that all the Palestinians there lived in a big concentration camp. It doesn't justify what happened. Nothing justifies it, okay? But now we do the same things. And I mean, much more.
Gaza. So when people say, so I hear the rhetoric, and the rhetoric that you're spewing now is exactly what I hear on the streets in Australia from people, like I said, that don't believe in Israel at all. They use exact arguments you're using now. Calling Gaza a concentration camp when we saw the photos, because on one hand they make the argument that Israel has flattened Gaza and destroyed Gaza since October 7, which the images are pretty confronting. Pretty confronting, right? But when we look at the pictures prior to October 7, there were beautiful parts of Gaza. That was there not?
No.
The beaches in Gaza were not nice. The neighborhoods.
If you live in Gaza, okay, you live in Gaza and you enjoy this beautiful beach, and then you want to go to Australia. Do you have a port? Do you have airport? Can you go? No.
I agree with you. No, that's one thing, but that's not a concentration camp.
It's a big, okay, not a concentration camp.
But words matter because these are inflammatory words.
The world's biggest prison. Okay. And Netanyahu was supporting for all these years, supporting the Hamas for one specific reason, because he wanted to separate the Palestinian and not to deal with the Palestinian Authority and to take a peaceful path towards solving the situation. when Sharon left Gaza, he said, "I promise you, there won't be peace there for 40 years." They knew exactly what they wanted to do, not to.
So what do you want to happen now? What is it that you guys want to happen tomorrow? If you were in charge, what would you do?
Ceasefire. There is a
take out all our soldiers immediately. Ceasefire. Go out.
And keep Hamas in power.
Hamas.
None of my.
It's
No. Let them build Gaza again. Let them have free elections. Let them have ports and airports. And of course, we want.
How are they going to have free elections if Hamas is in charge? The Palestinian Authority here doesn't let free elections. How will they do that in Gaza?
That's a very good. It's a very good question, and we have to deal with how to build trust, and we have to how do we build trust between the two people, because only a peaceful solution is a solution. All other solution
Before this, how do you say it in proper English? I don't know. What was made in South Africa and in ועדות פיוס. Justice, just to sit together.
Reconciliation. We have to start talking about reconciliation.
But how do you do reconciliation with people that follow a charter that wants everyone here, whether you're left wing, right wing, dead?
You say yourself, people here say we want to kill all the Arabs, even the infants, even the babies are terrorists. Okay, so.
That's not government policy. There are extremists in every group.
Exactly. And the Hamas is extreme on one hand, and Smotrich and Ben Gvir are extreme in the Israeli government on the other hand. And we oppose both extremists.
And I understand that, but even Smotrich and Ben Gvir, their worst rhetoric, their most extreme rhetoric doesn't match that of Hamas. Hamas's charter literally says, on Judgment Day, the rocks and the trees will shout, "O Muslim, O servant of Allah, there's a Jew behind me, come and kill him." How does that compare to anything Smotrich or Ben Gvir have said?
We had a prime minister named Menachem Begin. Do you know him? Menachem Begin, he was our prime minister. And he says, there was in Hebrew, he say, will not withdraw even one step, okay? Sounds better in Hebrew, okay? Af sha'al. Af sha'al for your Hebrew audience in Australia. Yeah. He said, we won't withdraw. And he, of course, gave back all Sinai because he was clever, he understand. So what people say doesn't impress me. Wrong. What Smotrich says impresses me. But what Hamas says doesn't impress me.
Let me give you an example of why there's such a complete contrast in the governments, in those extremes. The fact that you guys are here and you're saying what you're saying, which is quite extreme rhetoric, that like when you say genocide and
why saying there is a genocide? Over 70,000 people have been
concentration camp. But those are the words
we took back. We said the prison.
I agree.
So, but the point that you get to stand here and do that in the heart of Tel Aviv, where if groups in Gaza opposing Hamas did they'll get killed.
You know how many Palestinians died in the West Bank since the October 7th war started? Do you know how many Palestinians? How many Palestinians died by Israeli troops and by settlers since the October 7th war? Over 600 dead Palestinians.
They're not Israeli, so what I'm saying to you,
we kill them.
But what I'm saying to you, the difference
my daughter was beaten up by 10 settlers, by 11 settlers with rocks, stones, and the government says we don't know what they are. How can you identify them? They are masked. There is an established terror by the settlers in the West Bank, and then we ask ourselves.
But are you seriously comparing the freedom of speech in Israel to the freedom of speech in the Palestinian Authority or in Gaza? You're comparing it?
Of course.
Of course. That's how I live here.
But you're free to. My point is, you're free to do this. Who is free in Gaza City?
Right now, even not for long.
Did you see the policeman before? You saw that
But all I'm saying is in Gaza City, if somebody tried to oppose Hamas, they would get beheaded.
But it is not.
It's
under
my-
it
do you
is
want
not
me
my-
to
it
take
is not my
respons-
responsibility.
Who is being supporting Hamas?
What I'm
Who is being supporting Hamas for the
Netanyahu
last
did it, and
15
now he
years?
says, "Oy vey."
Getting
It's for the
money from
Jews.
Qatar to Hamas. Who is being doing it? Only Bibi Netanyahu. He is
He
being
gave
supported.
them- He gave them weapon. He gave them power. He gave them everything. And now he says, "Oh, so
they're
extreme. Now they're extreme. Yes, they're extreme because that's how
That's
they
what
do."
they built. It started with yes.
What's a group like? What's the group? Are you guys like from a certain political group?
No, it's called looking at the occupation in the eyes.
So your one issue. This is your one issue that you guys are.
The issue is that
We're
we.
the basic issue.
Like, are you part of a political party or something? No.
I've never been.
Have you been outside of Israel to the protests, the anti-Israel protests around the world?
Yes, I've been sometimes in Spain, and now we have been in Austria, and we said we are from Israel. We didn't hide. We said we are from Israel. We're against what our government does, and more than that, we say, please stop supporting us. Please stop selling weapons to our government. That's what we said all over the world.
Are you not worried if Israel doesn't have any weapons? What do you think? What would happen? Do you not believe that? Do you not believe that saying that if Israel put down its arms?
So automatically, it's so theoretic. So what? It's
It's not theoretical. October 7 was an example of it, was it not?
It's an example of what? That if power and killing is not a solution, that is what we have to understand. That's not the solution. We say to the Hamas and we say to the Israeli government, that is not.
That's my point. Is nobody is actually saying it to Hamas because
Who's not saying
because
it?
if you go in
we
there,
are
you
saying,
can't.
we are saying
Sure,
no
but if
to
you-
Hamas
but if you-
and no to and no to the Israeli
But
government.
if you get your way, let me just put this proposal to you. If you get your way and the Israeli government falls, right, and withdraw all the soldiers, Hamas remains in power, and
After 2 years,
why do you need
so
a
what?
negotiation?
No,
Can't
When
Hamas
said
just
yes,
release
when
the
Hamas-
hostages?
When
I-
Hamas said yes, when Hamas said yes to the negotiation, Netanyahu said no. Hamas said yes.
Do you believe Hamas?
Of course, I believe Hamas. I
Do
don't
you believe Hamas?
I believe Hamas more than I believe Netanyahu. Yes, you can quote me. I believe Hamas more than I believe my prime minister. Yes, no doubt.
That is wild. All right, guys. I just think it's amazing, though, that you're in Tel Aviv and you're able to do that, and that's what I love about Israel. I think it's a real robust democracy.
Free for the Jews. Free for the Jews. It's an apartheid state.
There are 20% Arabs here, and I've been
they're
meeting Arabs all day.
Go to the airport tomorrow morning. Go to the airport, to Ben Gurion Airport. Stand in the line and see how they treat the Arabs, the Israeli Arabs. Just go there, and see the woman with a hijab. Okay, she lives here. She has a blue. She has the identifier. She lives here more generations. I'm first generation in Israel. First, my mother was born in Germany, okay? She lives here for 5, 6, 7 generations. She will be stopped in the airport. I'll pass. Go there tomorrow morning. It's Rosh Hashanah. Go there and just count. Just look. Just stand there.
I understand. I came to Israel with my Muslim kids. I got Muslim. Like it's not a thing. I've spoken to Israeli Arabs here, and yes, some identify as Palestinian. But when you pose the question to them, where would you rather live, under Israel or any other Arab state? They all want to stay. It's an unfair question because this is the best country in the Middle East.
No, it's an unfair question.
How can you say that we are the best country in the Middle East when we kill 70,000 people? That's genocide. How can
war.
we?
That's war. It's sad. It's horrible. It's war.
No, if
War is
that's
between two equals. No.
That's not true. When is war between two equals? Why does war defined by the two parties?
No, it's not.
When
Okay,
when
so-
one side came in and really
One
tried to commit
side-
genocide,
one
the other
side-
side is defending its people.
Why is everything started at October 7th?
It didn't. In fact, it started in 1920. Was probably the first terrorist attack, and that was against Jews.
And what happened and that's all what you know. You don't know about what was done to the Palestinians. You don't know about what happened in 48. Do you know where all this?
I know what happened to the Yemeni people. My family came from Yemen. They
You
were
know
forced
where
out by the
the-
Arabs.
you know where those
Well, how far
Palestinians-
back do you want to go?
Well, I want to go and listen to where did all those people in the Palestinian, the West, in the Gaza, where did they come from?
depends. It's a mix of people. There's 700 displaced people. 700,000.
Mostly from Ashkelon, Ashdod. You know, all.
And where were my family refugees from? I'm from Australia, but my Yemeni family were refugees from other Arab lands. So history is brutal. It's harsh, and we need to move forward. But I just think that comparing Israeli freedoms to the Palestinian, right? You said it's worse. You say it's worse. You say the Israeli government's worse than Hamas. You don't believe. You believe Hamas more than you come on. Like I think that's. To be fair, I think that's either naive or crazy.
We don't agree with them. It's a different thing. We don't agree with them. We are against Hamas. It has to be clear.
There's a fine line, but look,
it's not a fine line. It's a distinct line.
You seem a bit more willing to say that, but look, again, what I love about Israel is that you guys are here doing this, and that tells me that democracy is alive and well. And the day that you're not, okay, come back to me when you're not allowed to. When you're not allowed to, then I think we can have a conversation about that. You know what? The only thing that I would agree with you on.
Go to Haifa and see those demonstrations, like people like us, what the police does to them. Go to Haifa and check, and you'll see the police doesn't allow them to protest. They don't allow Israeli Palestinians to protest. They don't allow them to face their opinion on the social media. It's all forbidden for them. We live like it's a democracy, but it's democracy for the Jews. And the laws in these countries are built on Jewish supremacy. That's what it's all about.
If you go to the government and ask to go to Gaza, they won't leave you.
I've tried. I went into Gaza, but I didn't get. I would love. I think that they should open it to more media.
Of course, democracy. You have nothing to
Yeah, but you can't go to the front of the Ukraine war either. What do you criticize the Ukraine war? Do you criticize the Ukrainians for not letting journalists at the front line there either?
Hey! We are talking now here.
I know,
yes,
but you think
every construction that you put over democracy and freedom, of course, all over the world.
And I agree.
In South
I agree. I think you can. I think
you know how many journalists we killed? Over 130.
How many of them were members of Hamas? I get.
How many?
I'm just asking you. I'm saying.
Let's say half of them, okay? Let's say half of them were Hamas. And what about the other half? That's okay with you?
No, very sad. Very sad.
It's not sad. It's a crime. It's not sad.
It's a crime. It's a crime. The intent matters. If you can prove that the Israeli forces go out of their way with the intent, like Hamas did on October 7th.
How do you know?
I know the intent that Hamas had because they live streamed it.
You don't know the intention of
Because there's nothing that proves it.
Israel is only leading a war, and the Palestinians cannot have a war. They can only have a massacre. We have planes, and we can drop bombs, and therefore we do a legitimate war. They do not have a legitimate.
There's a very big difference between the intent, so going house to house, butchering, raping, beheading.
That's what we do now.
Absolutely not. Show me that. We absolutely not. You're distorting the truth. It's so sad.
Putting down buildings in Gaza putting down buildings in Gaza just because they are tall. After 2 years of war, after 2 years of war, suddenly those become a terrorist places. Israel, we look at the Israeli government that is talking about making deals, land deals with the Americans after they will displace all the Palestinians from Gaza.
There is an organization called Shovrim Shtika. How will you say it in Hebrew? Shovrim Shtika, how will you say it? Soldiers that served in the territories, in the West Bank and in Gaza, they will tell you, Shovrim Shtika, to break the silence.
I know that.
Okay,
Israel is a robust democracy. I'm happy to talk to them.
Talk about the
Under being an extreme attack by the Netanyahu government.
Thank you. Nice man. God bless you. Look, I'm happy to talk to anyone here. Let's go. Let's walk towards. Where is the protest? That way. Let's go that way. Thank you. That's the one, brother. Thank you. What do you think about all that?
Mixed opinion. I'm here, but let me tell you something. There's all sorts of signs here, and they're not all the same signs. So it's a mixed. There's some of them more extreme than others. So, but when you go, but the common ground is, I mean, I think that Israel didn't do enough to create an alternative for the war. And when you're not doing enough to create an alternative, you're cooperating with the state of war. And as well as there are extremists on the Palestinian side, there are also extremists here. But here we may not face to that fact or to the truth, but it's a fact. They have different ways. But they're doing, from my point of view, you can look at it that it's not just a war between Arabs and Jews. It's a war between extremists and moderate people, and people who want peace. And the problem is that on both sides, the moderate people, the 70%, let the 30% take over and do whatever they want. And that's the problem.
Like I would argue, in Israel.
That's my opinion. Yeah.
No, but I would argue in Israel, at least, like when people say you need a regime change in Israel, how many elections?
That's a different story.
No, sure, but it's when you're talking about the extremists taking the conversation here. Are you talking about within the government here?
No. When I'm talking about extremists, I'm talking about the situation. The situation. The situation. We're not on the same page completely, but we have something in common. Never mind.
We are Israelis.
No.
We are human beings.
No. We're left. Also, we're both left.
No, I know. But he's not.
Never mind. I like him.
He's not
All,
a dictator.
I like him all the same.
I've never seen it.
I like him all the same. But
I
What
think
did you
it's
ask? No,
fascinating
no.
to see this because
Yeah,
I just don't. To me, yeah.
So I'm saying the extremist is concerning the situation around the Palestinian question. Okay, even within the 50% that are so-called right, most of them, or at least half of them or more of them, I don't think they want war. I think they're willing to negotiate. But people are easily led. People, they put a vote on a party and they don't take time to think what does that mean when they're putting a vote to a party. Like what exactly that mean. They don't take the responsibility. But if you dig a little bit further, you'll see that they don't want war. But they vote for someone and they don't care so much. They just vote, it's like their favorite football team or something, And that's the thing. I think the majority of Israelis prefer to make a compromise.
Sure, but and I understand that, but
Yes.
my question is, what is that compromise? Like, so what I'm seeing in these protests so far, like I was outside Benjamin Netanyahu's house as well, there was a protest, and everybody's saying ceasefire now, withdraw the troops, and they have to release the hostages, and Hamas has to essentially give up power. But the problem is, Hamas is not going to do that.
I don't know. Look,
Why would they do that if you withdraw?
Even if I don't know if they're gonna give. I think they should. First of all, return the hostages at any price. I think they should have done it a long time ago at any price. Why? Because they're not to blame. The government of Israel had all the time in the world to make war with Hamas before the 7th of October. They didn't do nothing.
But you say at any price. Can you define it? Like a capital of Palestine in Jerusalem.
At any price, I mean, they can go strong again.
Let Hamas rule.
Yes, for the time being. For the time being. Bring our guys back. Then if you want to make war, you can make war. But the problem is not
But
that.
you need Hamas even to agree to that.
The problem, first of all, the problem is that even if you look, the problem is that you can't. When we tried to rule there with the military, rule there, when you try to rule a population, they're gonna open a window and shoot at soldiers. That's why we got out of there. The Afghans drove the Russians away that way. It's impossible to win a guerrilla war. It's impossible. So the government is not giving a solution for the long term. There's not a solution. What's the solution for the long term?
But what's the alternative? Is you release now
the
and
Prime Minister gave a solution for the long term? No, he has no solution. He's just thinking short term. So it doesn't matter what's happening if Hamas stays or not, because you can't prevent it anyway. What are you going to do? You're going to stay there?
If it turns out that they prolong the war and they do defeat Hamas, would you give?
You can't defeat Hamas.
Why not?
You can. Okay, you defeated them. Okay, you killed every one of them. Okay, what's then? What's next?
So a bit like Nazi Germany, there was a period of de-radicalization. That's what they're talking about. So I don't know exactly, but my point is, everybody.
There is no
de-radicalization.
No, there is no. You can't control it. You know why? Because it's in the minds of the people.
But that's what it was in Nazi Germany.
No, but you can't control the mind of.
But they did. Did you know what they did in Nazi Germany and in Japan?
What?
They actually forces occupied it. It doesn't have to be Israeli forces.
Yes, but they're going to shoot at your soldiers.
But if there's no Hamas and you're actually, I'm just saying, when you're talking about different alternatives, because what's the alternative is you just give Hamas back the territory and they will commit October 7 again.
First of all, I think that if you first of all, I'm not sure there's no easy solution.
That's for sure.
There's no easy solution.
If there was, somebody would have done
no
it.
easy solution, but that doesn't mean you don't have to try. Doesn't mean you have to stop trying. You have to try. What the government refused to try, they refused to give the Palestinian Authority what they wanted. For example, East Jerusalem and the settlements. You can take off a lot of settlements.
But the government's argument would be is we gave Gaza for peace and look what we got.
That's not an argument. That's not a reasonable argument.
Why not?
I'll tell you why. Because it's the Palestinians who live in Gaza and the Palestinians who live in the authority are the same people. When there's a war at the north, I go from Tel Aviv and fight in the north. I don't say that's not my problem. The same from Gaza and the territories and Judea Samaria. If we don't do peace, if you don't make concessions over there, the Gazans are fighting also because of that.
So then what you're saying?
It's ridiculous to make that argument.
But then what you're saying is unless you give the Palestinians, both the Palestinian Authority and whoever's ruling Gaza, Hamas at the moment, unless you give them everything they want, it's a perpetual war, because otherwise.
First of all, you have to ask the question: what is justice? What is justice? What is just to do?
I would say personally, that at
No,
this
it's not
time.
personally.
No, but what I would say at this time, I would argue, is essentially ensuring that those responsible for October 7 are held to account, and secondly, ensuring that it can never ever happen again.
How are we going to do that?
Well, I'd say right now the best option, personally, is you got to keep fighting. It's horrible, but you've got.
Look, we were in Gaza with soldiers on the borders with Egypt, and they killed soldiers every day there because it's easy. They just open a window and shoot, and that's why we got out of there. Because we don't.
Well, that's a kind of a distortion. The disengagement from Gaza,
What?
Ariel Sharon, the whole disengagement from Gaza was a very political thing at the time. It wasn't about the shooting.
No. It's about no.
It wasn't about the guerrilla warfare. It was a lot of pressure internationally, which people at the time were very upset about.
No. It's not right. It's not correct. That was the situation. They were killing our soldiers. It's true that also the Prime Minister, Ariel Sharon, has had private affairs and he wanted to do that, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't change the fact that he changed.
If that was the reason why they did it, then they would have disengaged from the West Bank as well. So
They did.
They didn't disengage from the West Bank.
They did. No. What happened in the first Intifada? The first Intifada in '88.
Yeah.
There was an uprising. There was still no shooting, just uprising with stones. That you know what? That made us. We were inside their big cities, strolling at the boulevard of the big cities. We didn't want to leave. They made us leave. How? Because they made uprising. We didn't want to leave. If you would ask, even in 1901, there was an international conference.
But they didn't disengage like they did in Gaza. I better move on because we've got to actually get to think. It was nice to meet you. Good conversation. Thank you. I love that in Israel you can have different opinions, and that's my point to them, is that you can have whatever view you want about Bibi Netanyahu. I don't really care about like that. Yeah. My point is to stand here with a straight face and tell me that the government in Gaza is some way comparable to the.
Look, between us. Look, I don't agree exactly about everything. I know where you're coming from, and I don't exactly. We're not on the same page. Look, but I like you. but I told you.
You did say they're very different.
They're different.
I know.
I think that also
Are they the minority?
They also have a little.
Are they the minority? Do you think?
Of course.
Because those are the ones that get amplified in Australia. On TV, that's what we see.
That's a very small minority here. Very small. They don't even have a party.
Good to meet you, mate. Thank you. Let's get a move on.
Wait a minute, I'm going to be broadcast?
Yeah, that was live, and it's also.
And it was live. Where?
It goes live.
Australia?
Well, on a lot of platforms.
To
You can say hello to Australia, and
Hi, Australia. I love you.
Anyone that's up now has a few screws loose because it's pretty late. Thanks, mate. All right, guys. Where did our boy go? Did we lose him?
No, we'll find him.
Was he here? Oh, was he?
He's just around here.
Oh, here he is. Let's go.
That was quite interesting.
How did you find that conversation?
Look, I mean, this is, like you said, like it's good to see democracy working where people have different opinions and they're allowed to voice those opinions. And, but they believe, like, it's like some of the people in Australia that have those beliefs about the government as well. Like,
And look, here it's even crazier to me because here, and that's why I think they're so fringe, is here those beliefs are genuinely suicidal. Where in Australia it's like a far-fetched idea. Yes, I want communism. What is that?
no, there is consequences there to their views, I guess.
These ones, if they really won, like the idea that they got, if those guys ever got into power, the next day Hamas told us what they're going to do. So they're thinking, like, they seem to genuinely think that if they, if Israel had no weapons and laid down their arms, these Palestinian groups will just come in and hug them and say, "Yay, let's live together in peace and harmony." Even though, forget about Israel. Look at the entire Middle East. There's no place where Jews ruled under Islamic fundamentalists like Hamas and like a big chunk of even the Palestinian, like the more less radical so-called Palestinian. Like, it's just not going to happen. It's delusional. That's the constant theme I'm seeing here.
I found that lady who was warm to you at the beginning, but by the end of it, she thought you were a shady journalist.
Yeah. She called me.
No integrity.
No integrity.
I was surprised when she said that she believes Hamas more than her own government.
Madness, and they use all the same buzzwords as
But there's a lot of people on here that are watching from overseas who are saying, Avi, let her speak. We agree with her.
Yeah, of course.
So she's right.
Of course.
So they're saying that you're hearing from your own people that you're wrong.
No. So again, it's a very small fraction. But the point is, she gets to say that here. You guys sitting at home who always condemn Israel for being this whatever, guess what? She gets to say that here in the heart of Tel Aviv, where Palestinians in Gaza and the West Bank don't enjoy that freedom. And that's the irony of all of that. So she's free to have her, and you just happen to agree with her because many of you have either been, you've been, what's the word? Brainwashed from social media, from the media, from all that. That she's saying everything you want to hear, and that's what It's interesting to me that she was using, and he was using, all the exact same phrases that are used at the anti-Israel protests around the world, where most of the people there, a big chunk of them, actually just hate Jews. And it's just, it's wild. I knew there was a contingent here of it. From what I understand already, it seems like a very small minority. But we're about to find out.
Okay.
So guys, we are walking to where?
Hostage Square, I think. Is that right?
Yeah. guys can do super chats at the end of the stream, depending on what country. I'm asked that from YouTube. You can do super chats.
And by the way, just for those of you saying that I should listen to my own people, maybe listen to the next person who, again, is a left-wing protester who doesn't agree with a lot of my positions, but he was saying they've got a couple of loose screws. So that's somebody that also wants to end the war. And that's the thing, like that, those two people are radicals.
But I mean, overall, it's good to have diversity.
I love it.
That's what makes a country healthy.
I love it.
So they're out here protesting against the government. And if they have the support of the people, it might be a different scenario. I don't know.
I found it quite convenient, though, that when I pointed out that here he's free to say this stuff, and the police are standing right there, nobody's doing it. Like they're protecting him. In fact, he had to point to like Haifa, where I can't check anything, and I know it's nonsense because in Israel there is freedom of speech. There is.
From Hamas.
There we go. I got excited there for a second. I thought I got excited. I thought we had a free Palestine guy in the heart of Tel Aviv. After that conversation, it wouldn't surprise me if there was one.
They're probably not in this side though.
All right, that was getting out of the Uber to walk this way. And how you doing? But now we're just getting to the protest. That was like the pre-protest, and I only went up to them because I saw them having an argument with someone. All right, here's the protest. Fix Rukshan's microphone.
Mine was off.
Oh,
My mic was off, guys. It's all good.
was that why you were talking?
It's all good. I fixed it up. I saw the comments. We'll chat about that again, guys, after.
Well, that whole chat, your mic was off.
Yeah.
Rukshan's an idiot. It's basically when we interview, we want his mic off so you guys can hear better the interview. Let's get an idea of what this protest is like. I might do an open. I'll do an open now for the report. Yeah. Maybe we'll go to the other side, get an idea.
יוסף חיים אוחנה, אבי נתנו, דרור, גאילוס,
So just to get an idea,
מוחמד אלעטש,
at this protest that
רונן אנקל,
is against the government and against the war, you see Israeli flags everywhere. So that kind of indicates that those two people are on the fringe. Most people here still support the state of Israel and love Israel.
רוב ברסלבסקי, ביבי ג'ושי, רב פילי, בני דודה, אדם גורדי.
There's definitely thousands of people here. So they're currently reading the names of the hostages, and the crowd is responding by saying now, to release each one now. It seems like a message to the Israeli government, I feel, because they think that the Israeli government here is not doing everything they can to actually release the hostages. A bit like Tommy Robinson rally, they actually have organised Portaloos. It's well funded, these rallies. It's quite a decent turnout. I'll do the open here. Is this? So here. Oh, come. Come around. Aviamini for Rebel News in Hostage Square, Tel Aviv, where thousands have gathered. I'll do it again. Guys, you get to see behind the scenes, all my bloopers. Hope you enjoy them. Ready? I'm worried that music's going to kill us. What? Is it generic? Ready? Aviamini for Rebel News in Hostage Square, Tel Aviv, where thousands have gathered for their weekly End the Hostages protest against the current Israeli government. We're here to find out why. Is it really as it's portrayed and as they're portrayed in the Australian media? That was the open. There you go, guys. That's how I produce an open. Let's walk through the protest.
715 ימים של תופת, ללא שינה, חיים מתים. בחזיונות השחורים והחשוכים ביותר שיכולתי לדמיין מאז השבת השחורה ההיא, לא תיארתי לעצמי שזה ייקח כל כך הרבה זמן. שנתיים בלי לראות את הבן שלי, שנתיים בלי לשמוע את הצחוק המתגלגל שלו, בלי לחבק אותו חיבוק עז, כמו שהוא אוהב. שנתיים של חיים בפחד ואימה, בלי לדעת דבר, חור שחור. תמיר נעלם ב7 לאוקטובר, למרות שנחטף בריא ושלם על רגליו. 48 חטופים נשכחו בעזה, אי שם במנהרות. החללים קבורים מתחת להריסות, החיים משמשים כמגן אנושי. בצה"ל אמרו לנו שצה"ל יעשה הכל כדי שהחטופים החיים לא ייפגעו. אז אמרו, ראינו מה קרה בסוף אוגוסט 24. 6 חטופים הוצאו להורג במנהרות.
The father of one of the hostages is now addressing the crowd.
ועל מה כל זה? על זכיחות, יוהרה, זלזול בחיי אדם, הקרבת חטופים וחיי חיילי צה"ל עבור כיסא, עבור שלטון.
The crowd's so large that a bit like the Tommy Robinson rallies, they have screens all around. I'll give you an idea of the size of the crowd.
עבור ממשלת פח של מוגי לב, פחדנים, אנשים קטנים, מושחתים, פושעים, עבריינים.
I want to go like to the edge.
ביבי נתניהו. איש הפח הראשי. הגיע הזמן שתגדל לב, שיהיה לך ערך לחיי אדם. תחזיר את כל החטופים בעסקה עכשיו. תקנה את עולמך, שלטונך יובטח וישמר. הנה, אנו רגע לפני חגי תשרי, ראש השנה, יום כיפור, סוכות, חגים שתמיד שלי כל כך אוהב ומחובר אליהם, מחובר למשפחתיות. עוד חגים שלא אוכל לחגוג, לא לציין, לא יכול לשבת מסביב לשולחן אחד עם המשפחה, בלי לדעת מה קורה עם הבן שלי. איפה? אתה ביבי, אתה יודע איפה הבנים שלך. אנחנו לא. תמיר היה מגיע אליי, היינו מעבירים יחד את החג, מדברים, אב ובן. ועכשיו אני בריק, ואקום, חושך. ביבי, בפתחה של השנה החדשה, שנה יהודית חדשה, תראה לנו מהם ערכים יהודיים, תחזיר לנו את הבנים והבת הביתה, לא בלחימה מסוכנת וחסרת תכלית, אלא בעסקה
It is a massive
כוללת
protest.
מיידית. אחר כך נטפל בכל השאר. עשינו זאת בעבר, נעשה זאת בעתיד. איפור מתקרב, תכפר על עוונותיך, על העוונות של ממשלתך המיליטנטית וחסרת האחריות. ביבי, אתה ויתרת על הבת שלך. אנחנו לא נוותר על הילדים שלנו הנמצאים הם שם במחשכי עזה עד טיפת דמנו האחרונה.
Can you see the screen so you get an idea of the size of the crowd, or is it a bit far? I want to find a better spot to talk to people. I feel like in the protest isn't.
לסיום, נבקש לחדד עובדה חשובה. בכל מקום מדברים על 20 חטופים חיים. כן, גם המשפחות חותכות במספר הזה ברעיונות. ישנם 22 חטופים המוגדרים החיים. 22. כך הוא עבר את המתקפות. ראיתי זאת בעיניי. 48 חטופים וחטופה. 22 המוגדרים בחיים. את כולם הביתה עכשיו!
All right. So, now that Rukshan's mic is back on,
My mic is back on, guys.
We'll have a
Let
bit
me
of a
just get
chat,
it
then we're going
going.
to go find a good spot to kind of talk to people. I like the entry point. I feel like it was a better place to talk to people. Right now they're listening to speeches. Now your mic was off before.
It was off. I think there's like thousands and thousands of people here. It's packed out.
It's huge. There's
It's huge.
over 10,000 people.
10,000?
It's
Yeah.
big. And look, I think the criticism you get from the other side is that a lot of these people are just anti the Netanyahu government. When they say Netanyahu doesn't have a solution, one thing that's become clear to me, maybe it's true, but these guys don't seem to have a solution. And when they do, their solution is withdraw and let Hamas take control of it.
Yeah. What I was saying before was that you might have missed because my mic was off. The first lady you interviewed, she said she believes Hamas more than her own government after seeing the atrocities that Hamas committed, because they're here primarily for the release of the hostages, which Hamas took. But she still believes them more than the Israeli government. What do you have to say to that?
Like, that again, to me, that just demonstrates the robustness of Israeli democracy. The fact that you can stand here in the heart of Tel Aviv and say that openly in front of police means that, and the thing is, she denies that there is any kind of comparison, that in the Palestinians don't have that right. Like it's clear as day. In Israel, you can criticize the government, you can attack the government, you can call for them to fall. In fact, you can also, to the detriment of Israel, talk about trusting Hamas more. Imagine trying that in Gaza or even in the West Bank under the Palestinian Authority. She's a cooker, but she's clearly in a minority, even in this crowd. If you just kind of pan over the top, you can see how many Israeli flags there are here. And to me, that's a striking difference between protests here in Israel, between the right and left, and protests in Australia between the right and left. In Australia, you will not see an Australian flag at a left-wing protest because they all hate the country. They all hate everything about our existence. Whereas here, they just don't like the government. They don't like the right-wing government. They think a left-wing government will.
Well, we did hear a massive boo when one of the fathers of the hostages mentioned Bibi Netanyahu's name. There was an audible boo across the crowd.
And look, and you got to remember, before October 7, there was a big movement in Israel that were protesting. It's a lot of the same people here were protesting the judicial reform. They were protesting the Israeli government already, and this is kind of the continuation and offshoot from that movement. I think the majority of people we're talking to and the viewers can see, they're saying that they need to release hostages now and Hamas can't be in control. Their way of achieving that seems a bit delusional to me, but we'll continue talking to people. The first couple, clearly what we would call as cookers in Australia. We have them in Australia because we also have free speech in Australia where you can, to a degree, just criticize. You can criticize the government whilst they're trying to crack down on it, but you can. And people are free to have bad opinions. They're not in Gaza or the West Bank. They're singing the Israeli anthem, another example. They're singing the Israeli anthem, something you wouldn't see in a left-wing protest in Australia. Can I ask why you've got an Australian Down Under t-shirt there?
Why not? No reason.
We like it. Oh, you just...
My kid brought from
Australia?
Yeah, he was traveling there.
Can I ask why you're here at the protest?
You know. No.
All right. I like the t-shirt though.
Yeah, okay.
So we found one Aussie t-shirt. Amongst it all. You see, they're even more patriotic to Australia than they are in Australia at left-wing protests. Notice that. We'll go back to the entry point and have a chat to some of the activists there at the entry point, because I think a lot of the people standing here seem to be engaging and wanting to listen in to the speakers and watch what's on the screen. So it might be a bit harder to get those people to talk. The protests, compared to Australian protests, are a lot more, I guess, what's the word I'm thinking of? Solemn. I guess it's the issue, and it's a real issue here in Israel. It's not some, like the pro-Palestinian protests in Australia. It's about a conflict on the other side of the world. For people here, it's their reality, it's the real world, it's their life, and they just have an opposing political opinion. I wish Australian left-wing protests were this peaceful, to be fair, and this patriotic.
Yeah, so long.
How you doing? How are you?
Well,
is the deal for real. How you doing, sir? Can I ask you? So you got seal the deal? Is that part of the protest?
Yes.
What's the deal you want sealed?
I want that all the hostages will be returned, end the war, and hopefully even a deal with Saudi. And
like the Abraham Accords extended.
Yes. We have a choice to do it. It's our choice to continue the war, to continue the suffering, or to save lives, and or to end the war, bring them home, and hopefully we can have a peace with Saudi, and that's what we're asking for.
If ending the war means that Hamas is still in power, is that something you can live with?
But that's not the deal.
What's the deal?
The deal is that Hamas agreed to give up on his power. He's agreed to on a new administration in Gaza. That's the deal.
So you believe that there's a deal on the table where Hamas will actually essentially surrender and give all the hostages back?
Hamas agreed to end his ruling in Gaza. That's the deal. In May last year, our security minister said that there is a good deal, and he got fired. The chief of staff said there is a good deal, and he got fired.
Is it a good deal is one thing. Is it the deal that you're saying, which are those two conditions,
yes,
which have been the two conditions from the beginning of the war that the world was told that Israel needs to achieve? That's no Hamas rule in Gaza and all the hostages are coming home.
Yeah, that's the current deal. Hamas agreed to it. The military pressure make Hamas agree to this deal. But we have a government that wants to occupy Gaza, to settle it, to bring the Messiah. That's the current government. They don't continue the war because of security reasons. They do it out of religious, fanatic, and the prime minister who's doing anything to stay in power.
The American government doesn't agree, doesn't think that that deal is on the table. That's the deal that Trump wanted to get through. And if that deal was on the table and for real, Trump would force it through. Are you really that confident in Hamas's good faith deal, their negotiations? Do you really believe Hamas?
I don't believe Hamas. I believe our chief of staff, the former chief of staff and the current chief of staff. Even the current one, that Netanyahu, our prime minister, appointed. Even he said, there is a deal on the table, take it. We don't need to occupy Gaza.
I understand that, but so you're telling me two things. Is that deal what you're describing? Because I haven't heard that, and the Americans are certainly saying that that deal doesn't exist, and that's the problem with Hamas.
Let me say something about the American administration. First of all, you have, not you, but the American, have a president who was accused in harassing women. So forgive me for not believing Trump. Okay, I don't believe someone who is harassing women. So I believe our chief of staff that Netanyahu appointed, and he said there is a deal. You can take it. Take it. We don't need to continue the war in Gaza. We don't need to send our soldiers to die in Gaza anymore.
So I want to check because I haven't heard that. So the chief of staff says there's a deal on the table where they will release all the hostages and Hamas will put down their weapons.
No, Hamas will not put on the table. That's not on the table. That's something that Netanyahu added in the past last 2 months to sabotage the deal. The deal is that Hamas give up his power, not putting down his weapon.
The power is the weapon. That's how they control Gaza through force.
No, the power is the one who decide who to give the money. To who give the money to the employees in the...
So in Gaza in 2005, when Hamas won the election and then at the time the authority that was the Fatah that was running it refused to hand over the power, and the ones with the guns won.
Yeah, but
Because guns are power. Israel's winning because Israel has the firepower. So to argue that that the weapons is not the power, isn't that kind of disingenuous?
No, because the authority that are going to be in Gaza will have also guns. We are not.
Where are they now? You would need them there to be able to take on Hamas.
And how do you say it? The Arab countries, the more I don't know the word in English, but they are agreed to support this authority, this new authority in Gaza, to give them the money and the power and the guns to stay in power. And that's the deal. And Israel has always the opportunity to continue the war if Hamas will try to take again the authority in Gaza. So Israel can do it. They do it in Lebanon. We had an agreement with Hezbollah to end the war. Why with Hezbollah we can do it and with Hamas we cannot?
Clearly the wars have been very different, like the operation in Lebanon, the beepers, the walkie-talkies, and the way that Israel pinpointed it. It's clear that they had the intelligence and they've been building on this for many, many years. For whatever reason, they dropped the ball in Gaza. Gaza's also a different beast. It's an enclave. It became a terror base. But I guess if Hamas are serious about it, why don't they just release the hostages and relinquish the power, and that's it? And then the war can end, and Israel has no leg to stand on.
Okay, so you can say the same thing about Hezbollah. Why Hezbollah agreed to end the war? Because it was their interest to end the war, and Israel agreed to do it because it didn't jeopardize our security. And Hezbollah is 100 times more dangerous and more powerful than Hamas today, even before and today. They have third of the rockets. Hezbollah still have their third of the rockets. Hamas don't have nothing left, nothing. They don't fire any rockets.
There was one today in Ashkelon.
They don't have any rockets.
There was
left.
one today.
One from one in few months.
Okay, but they have, but they're showing that if they could, they would. If they can replenish them, they will fight. They've said that they don't hide that they want to wipe Israel off the map. It's no secret.
Hamas will never give up their aim to kill Israel, to eliminate Israel. They will never give up. But we have to think about our interest. Okay, our interest is first of all save our brothers who are now going through hell in Gaza. That's the first aim of our and in the same way, not jeopardize our security. We can protect Israel on the border with a lot of tanks, a lot of soldiers, which were not in the 7th October. We can protect the borders if we want. Okay, we have the power. We just needed to be there. And if Hamas will try anything, we will go again and strike them harder than we do now. If they will try, that it's not in their interest to try, because they want to slowly build up their power. I agree, but then what do you do that they will not be able to do it? You don't give them money like Netanyahu did. You kill their leaders.
I hear that a lot in left-wing protests in Australia or anti-Israel protests, where they say Israel funded Hamas, but in the next breath they say, oh, Israel is stopping the aid. The funding that we're talking about is like Qatari money or world money, where Israel transferred it on from those parties into Hamas, which was the governing body of Gaza. If Israel didn't pass that money on, then the world would be screaming like they're screaming now that you're blocking humanitarian aid. It is a genocide. It's everything we hear. So it's kind of no win for Israel.
Yeah. So I'm not the left in Australia who are saying that. Okay, I'm saying that Netanyahu decided to give money in dollars to Hamas when they use shekels to do trade. Their dollars are used to buy weapons. Why he gave him dollars? Why not shekels? Why he closed up? There was a unit in the Mossad and Shabak and the foreign minister which was target to stop the funding of Hamas. And Netanyahu closed it. How do you do it? You don't win a terror organization like this. And at that time, the Palestinian Authority had the opportunity to take Gaza. Mahmoud Abbas decided to end the funding to Gaza, not us. Mahmoud Abbas decided. And then Netanyahu went to the Qatar, asked them to give Hamas money because he wants Hamas in power. You know why?
Divide and conquer. That's the allegation, no?
No, because to divide and to not have a talk with the Palestinian Authority about the two-state solution. He thought that he can.
Which is divide and conquer. If they're divided, there's no way to make that big. And fair. I understand, and that's you know what I love about Israel, that you have the ability to debate these issues out in the public like this. There's at least 10,000 people I saw here tonight. Something that you won't see in, for example, Gaza. And there's even here a wide range of opinions. Like you're not as far, left as some people here.
Most of the protests here, most of the civilians here are not extreme left. There are even people from the right here, because the value of saving our brothers' lives is more important to kill the next terrorist.
What would you say to critics that would argue that essentially these kind of protests against the war, against Hamas, is actually encouraging Hamas not to reach a deal, because they look at it and they go, the pressure on the Israeli government internally is growing?
Yeah, so actually they are correct. But the situation here, that Hamas already agreed to the deal, and the Israel government keep sabotaging the deal time after time. Even in the...
Can you show me that deal is...
Biden for me is a reliable source.
Biden's probably not the most reliable
not
source.
Today, but
he never said that they agreed to the release of hostages.
He said, you can look up, he said...
Can I ask you, prior to October 7, obviously there was a big protest movement against...
Yeah, I was part of it.
You were part of it, because that's my question, is this kind of an extension of the anti-Bibi Netanyahu protests that we saw before October 7? And is a lot of this really people that just want to see an end of the Netanyahu regime?
Yeah, okay. So I can tell you myself, I cannot go into the hearts of other people and tell you why are they here. I can tell you I am here for the hostage. And there are other protests which are anti the current government, which are already also protests. But when I go to the hostage protest, I do it for the hostage. I think that if there was a deal to release all the hostage, and Netanyahu government, after the deal, will still in power, the deal, Netanyahu will sign this deal. The only reason he doesn't sign the deal is because of the left, the right extremes in the government who say, we will break the government if there will be such deal. That's the only reason he doesn't sign the deal. And I pray that there will be a deal to free all the hostage, and his government will be in power, because freeing the hostage is more important with Bibi leaving this power. And after the hostage will be free, I will continue protest.
Can I ask you, if Netanyahu doesn't listen to you guys and he succeeds to defeat Hamas at the end, and there is a new government, a new authority there, or whatever, would you give him credit that he actually he continued all the way through?
He will not give credit because...
No, I'm saying, would you give him credit?
I will not give him credit because hostages, our brothers and sisters, died in Gaza because of him. Because there is an option, there was an option to sign the deal a year ago. We could save them. They died in the hell in Gaza. And he doesn't even take credit for it. He doesn't take responsibility for it. He blames everyone else.
And that same deal a year ago, I'm just going to look it up. That deal a year ago, you're saying was that they release all the hostages
Yes.
and they relinquish power, just not their arms.
Yes. Yes.
I'll look it up. I just want to. I don't recall such a real deal, even in the Biden administration. Having said that, I also think that there's a problem with that idea of relinquishing power with all the guns, especially a year ago when Hamas was a lot stronger than they are today. Today, maybe you could argue that if you arm an opposition, an actual government, then maybe Hamas couldn't win that internal fight. A year ago, I don't know if they were still quite strong.
Yes. We break up Hamas as a military organization a year and a half ago. We break down all his
capabilities,
all his capabilities, and his chiefs of staff, all the command people or command terrorists were eliminated. We could sign the deal. We can save the hostage, and we can bring and we can build a new organization or authority in Gaza. And I want to remind you why Hamas went to the massacre. He wanted to stop the deal with Saudi. So the biggest win for Israel is to sign the deal with Saudi, because Hamas tried to.
But what if he gets both? What if he gets both? Would you give him credit then if he manages to get in another government to completely decapitate Hamas, even their arms, and get that deal with Saudi?
So if he will free the hostages now, and do it, I will give him credit for it. And he need at the same time take responsibility for all the life we lost. He didn't do it until now.
But I think the counter argument to that would be, well, if they allowed Hamas, if they made a deal a year ago and Hamas was able to really rebuild and commit more atrocities, the amount of life you'd lose in the long term would be greater than the shock. Do you know what I mean? Like, so, look, I appreciate your time.
No, let me answer.
Okay, go. Well, it was more of a statement, but go on.
Let me answer for it, because I heard it a lot. After 50 years ago, all the Arab countries how do you say it, surprised us, and we lost a lot of lives. 50 years, and we didn't have any surprise from any Arab country. Why? Because we learned from that. And now we had the same mistake. And now for 50 years from now and forward, we will not do the same mistake, because we know now that they are capable for it. We can put 50 tanks on the border, thousands of troops, drones 24/7. They will not be able to enter Israel as they did before. We are stronger than them. They cannot do it for us if we prepare. When we are prepared, we are stronger than anybody else here in the region. The same as we are prepared with Hezbollah. Hezbollah can do it, but they will not do it because we are prepared for it now. That's what I want to say, and we can free the hostage.
Do you give him credit for the way he handled Hezbollah and Iran?
So, for Hezbollah, I give him credit, but for Iran, he didn't eliminate their nuclear power. He said, Trump said, but it's not true. All the security agencies said they are still have their nuclear capabilities. And if you go deeper into the situation in Iran, they have two, even their demonstration tasks there have two, how do you say it, two parties. One of the parties say we don't need nuclear, we don't need to go to nuclear weapon. It's better not to do it. And the other say we do. After the strike, there are more power to the one who say we need to go to the nuclear weapon now, because they already attacked. We already attacked them. Now we don't have anything to lose. So that's for Iran.
So you think that actually the Iran strike was a bad thing?
I think the Iran strike conducted in a bad manner. You need to recognize that there is no single war target that was achieved by Netanyahu. Single one. He said in the Hezbollah, they said we need to disable Hamas from his weapons. They didn't do it. In Iran,
He's saying he's still doing that. That's
okay, but it's still we didn't. After 2 years of war, he said in Iran, throw the government off of power. Didn't do it. Eliminate their nuclear capabilities.
I think he said he wanted regime change. It wasn't the war objective.
I think it was part of the war.
I'm sure underneath. I think a lot of people were hoping and cheering for that, but I think Western powers haven't had much success with forced regime change. So
what the strike did?
So look, you're arguing that they had no real impact on the nuclear capabilities. I don't know.
I didn't say there is no impact. There is impact, but only a few months.
And also the top military brass. And I think it was also a test of Iran's real capabilities. And we saw, 20 years ago, I remember people here worried about the war, that's the inevitable war with Iran. And I think this one, people realize, okay, we can actually handle it.
But if we don't eliminate their nuclear capabilities, what did we achieve? I want to remind you, we had a deal. There was a deal with Iran, and they agreed not to continue their nuclear until 2030. Okay? And
do you believe them though? Do you think they're a good faith actor?
All the security agencies, again, I don't believe them, but it was in their interest for their economy not to do it. And all the security agencies said, even Israel, said they are holding up to the deal. And Netanyahu and Trump ended the deal. Now we are in a situation that they are maximum 1 year from a nuclear weapon, meaning 2026. In the deal, it was 2030. What's better, 2026 or 2030? And in 2030, Israel, if they wanted, they could strike Iran. So what Netanyahu gained from it is just a political,
Okay.
That's my opinion.
I appreciate your time, mate.
Yeah,
nice to meet you. Good luck. Thank you. Let's. Oh, yeah.
Check the camera. What? I was going to check something on the camera. It's all good.
כל מי שמעז לומר שהממשלה הזו לא מעוניינת בשחרור החטופים מוקע כבוגר, כסוכן של החמאס. אז אותנו אפשר להשתיק ולבטל כלאחר יד, אבל את נשיא ארצות הברית דונלד טראמפ כנראה שלא. הוא בעצמו אמר שהאיש שלו של ברחוב עזה פעל במכוון ולפוצץ כל עסקה. בהתחלה הם אמרו
All right.
Okay, so I'm just looking up because what was the claim? The claim was that under Biden a year ago, there was a proposal, there was a deal, and that's a deal that he's saying he wants to seal, where all the hostages would be released and that Hamas would relinquish power, just not lose their arms.
Talk with the kids, man.
How you going, guys? Where are we? Why are we all in uniform? Is this?
We are from the Tnuah Hadasha. We live in Sorana. Yes. And we're here to support.
To support what?
The family of the We came here.
One is organization.
Yes, organization.
Yes. There we go. That's a word I actually know.
And that's Tnuah.
Okay. So what is the organization? What does it do?
We are teenagers. In afternoon we came to the Tnuah to do, I don't know English.
ציונות.
We are going to the Tnuah to the little kids. And we...
As part of this.
No.
Oh, you're not part
We're
of
here
it.
to support because we think it's very important, and we have hostages in Gaza a lot of time, and they need to come back home now. And we're here to say that we are. אני לא מדבר אנגלית.
We show empathy with the hostages.
Okay. Are you part of those people that think that Israel has to end the war now?
Yes. Of course. And everyone needs to come home now.
Okay, so but if that means Hamas stays in power, because if Israel withdraws,
As teenagers Israel, it's very scared to live like this with all the אזעקות, איך אומרים? Sirens and all these things, and I'm really scared to go with my friends to
To the north or to the south, or the vacation.
yes, without safe space to be here, and it's very scared to live like this. So we think that the war need to end now.
are you not scared if Hamas get to stay in power? Does that not worry you?
We are scared from what's happening now.
מישהו יכול לציין אותי בבקשה אם אני אגיד יפה?
There's things that more important from
We
who will.
think that first everyone needs to come home, and
Yes,
then
and then
we
we will,
handle Hamas.
There is 48 people over there that they need our help, and they are here like 2 years, and this is a lot of time, much more wait time. ככה אומרים? And
Of course, it's scary. We don't want them in power because they do.
But if that's the cost, if the cost of getting the hostages home today means, because that's probably the practical cost of it, means Hamas stays in power, what's more scary and what would you more prefer right now?
I think it's more complicated than a yes or no question. It's something to think about, and you can see all over.
And teenagers, we don't want war. We just want everyone to live happy.
What would you say a better question is for teenagers around the world? In Australia, where I come from, many of the teenagers now, they don't like Israel. They really hate Israel, and they think Israel is a genocidal
they
country.
don't know. They don't know the story. They don't know the plot. They don't know what we have here and what we are going through. We are 2 years in a war, and this is disaster. And we just want all this to end and to be safe in our country.
I think that most of the stories, like in Gaza and stuff, they show most of their side and not our side, and we never get a chance to like explain ourselves. So most of them just like what they see online and stuff.
This is more important now to protect the Israeli people and to bring them home the hostages, from the explanation for Australia and other places.
Now the teenagers in Australia are watching, and they don't know you, but they don't like you. What would you say to them?
I think that they need to see our side and not just what's happening in Gaza and what's happening in Israel, because also we are in a very hard.
We're in a very hard situation here, and of course we want them to think twice about everything they see online, because most of it lies, and we really want to everyone to what's like it.
You want everyone to?
We want everyone to know the story of Israel and how hard the time we're going through, and we want the hostages to come back and the war to end, and that's all.
I would tell them to investigate what is really happening here and to learn more, because they
And try to
aren't
see
right.
our side instead of things they see online. Yes.
You know what's interesting is when Australian media portray this protest, they would say that you guys are essentially like the pro-Palestinian protest in Australia, that you don't like Israel. Do you love this country?
We love this country very much, and we think that the government is not a bullshit. That's enough.
People need to understand that the fact that we love this country doesn't mean we love the government and the people that make the decisions. And you can see all the people in here that come to support the hostages, and they don't agree with nothing the government has supported. So they need to understand it's not the same thing, the government and the people in Israel, and the fact that that's it.
And we are not get along with all the politics and all the government. We are just teenagers that want our hostages to come back home and to be safe in our country, and this is the most important thing in all this world.
All right, guys, thank you.
Am Israel
And there you have it. That's
It's live at the moment.
Yes! Hi, Australia!
so it goes live, but also later they make it into a.
They see me right now?
They see.
Our popular channel. Ah, it's live? Let's do photo. Our popular channel? Look, Yali Feder wants
If someone in Australia...
wants an Australian.
לא, אני שמורה.
בת נימול.
It goes to both. So live is
So where can I find it?
on a lot of channels, but I will show you. Go to YouTube.
What to...
Go to YouTube.
YouTube?
It's on everything, but you go to YouTube.
הנה, הנה הלייב, הנה הוא בצד.
You can see.
שלא, ביוטיוב.
מה?
What do you look for?
Here it is.
יש לו מיליון סאבסטרייב.
But it's on a lot. It's on a lot of channels. All right, guys, I gotta
Whoa,
go.
swearing God!
We got to go.
There you go. There you have it, guys. You know what? I love Israel for like on the political level for multiple reasons. You don't have that. Like
They're in a
they're-
very political, well, I'm one-sided political.
Sure, but there's still you can still talk to them. They're not full of rage and anger, and they love this country. In Australia, watch your back. In Australia, when you have, left-wing youth groups, they're radical and crazy, and you can't talk to them. Like obviously, like I can hear they're left-wing. They're emotional, and when you talk to them, so they're just like, we just want our hostages back, and we want to feel safe, and we want everything to be good and okay, kumbaya, and in theory, that's lovely.
They believe they are
Of course.
in a good cause, and of course they love Israel. Nobody here hates.
Those couple of people seem like they
In
may.
the beginning, yeah, you see that they are on the side. That there's
Where
a reason
would the
that-
so because now obviously
the radicals are like
Go over there.
and you can see that they are not inside in the main in the mainstream side of the protest.
let me do before we go here. I'll do a bumper to the end of the protest, so we have it for the guys. This is behind the scenes. You get to see again as we produce and as we film what goes into the final video, not the live stream, obviously. So I'll just do the bumper now. I'll just do it for me.
Yeah.
Is it a good shot? Tell me a shot that you're happy with.
Come with the screens in the background, bro. Come here. Yeah, all right.
Yep.
Yep.
If you think it's important for the world to see what the protests here in Tel Aviv are really about, not what the ABC News in Australia tell you it's about, make sure to like, comment and share it far and wide. And then if you support our mission here on the ground, head to israeluncut.com and consider chipping in to help us cover the cost of being here and the live streaming and the producing. israeluncut.com, we can't do it without you. We'll go see if we can get some more of the more radical elements.
Well, I wanted to say about those kids, they're pretty normal.
Yeah.
Normal kids. I guess they weren't being too political. They have like concerns that teenagers would have about, being safe. And obviously some of it's driven by emotion. But it wasn't, they were trying to differentiate between the Israeli people and the government from the questions you asked, right?
Yeah. Yep. They absolutely are, and they're young, and in the West as well, we see that generation is generally left wing. I think.
But they're not as radical as some of the kids in the West.
because I think here they're more realist. That's kind of the point I'm trying to drive home. for everybody here has to live the reality, the security reality of living in this neighborhood, in this dangerous, dark, violent neighborhood. So you can have all these ideals, but at a certain point, you have to be practical and real. And that means accepting some harsh realities. And that's why they seem to be more logical when they approach stuff. I still think many of them are, to a degree, delusional. Like
they're always trying to dance with the idea of peace.
Peace,
but they don't understand what is the cost of how do you get to peace? How do you get to a point where you have some conversation with anyone on the other side? It's like they're not open to what is actually going on.
Absolutely.
Like beyond the borders, you know.
It's, you know what? It's like that saying they want the cake and they want to eat it as well.
Yeah.
They want the peace, they want the hostages, and they don't want Hamas there.
They don't understand what is the cost of being Hamas is there. They say, like, of course there's 48 people there and it's an awful thing, but in the end, how many people are living next to the border, next to Gaza, next to where Hamas is going to be in control if we get out of Gaza right now? And you know, they always say, like, we can get out of Gaza now and we can just go back to killing Hamas after. Nobody really thinks this is like a true option. Like, nobody who knows what is going on can really think that we can just out of the blue go into Gaza and just like try to target only Hamas. That would never happen in a reality. It's like we either finish this thing right now, or we're left with we just give Hamas to the next generation. That's it. They will get Hamas in Tel Aviv or in other places in the country. Like, if we don't finish it now, obviously it will come back to them.
Yeah, 100%. I agree, and that's the real divide. Yeah, and that's the. But also something else that I noticed is, like, when I asked that particular guy if he had previously, prior to the war, been part of the protest movement against Bibi Netanyahu, I suspected he had been, and he said he had been, and that's why I feel that a lot of this is driven by that. These are people that really just hate the Netanyahu government, and that's fine. You're in a democracy. You have the right to do that. But they're using this issue. And the part that's concerning to me is that around the West, they take these voices and they twist it and they amplify it and they use it to justify and legitimize their anti-Israel hate. But when you're here, you see that these people, mostly the vast majority, love this country. They don't actually believe what you're using them to justify. All right, let's see if we can get a few more maybe radicals, and then I think we could probably wrap it up. It looks pretty quiet tonight. Like, so they don't come to the actual hostage square, you don't think?
No, this is the hostage square,
like so I'm saying.
No, the radicals. Yeah, there's a reason they are on the side, and they don't come here because they know that their main agenda won't be accepted here. Most of the people here are veteran soldiers, and they don't agree with what the radicals are really saying.
This guy's full kitted out.
Pretty organized.
Yeah. How you doing, guys? Are you guys like part of organizers, or you do your own thing?
Yeah, you want to talk?
Who you are?
We're from Australia.
Okay.
Can you tell us what you guys do? Because you're super prepped.
It's called the Democratic Library, and we come to every demonstration and we open up this table with all kind of books. It is all political reading.
Yep.
And people are invited to take a book and bring it back 2 weeks later, no charge, and that's it.
What kind of political books is it, and what's your message?
The message is to think about society and about the situation in Israel, to expand your mind about the occupation, the war, the economics. So all the books are left-wing, and this is all radical reading about the situation today, mostly in Israel, but also all over the world. So,
is it like Marxist? Yeah. So you're a Marxist?
I'm me, yeah, but not everybody that reading this is a Marxist. Some of them are socialists, and some of them just people that want to have some critics about how things are going on. You don't have to be a part of a special stand, but you have to be critical about things.
So I guess the radical left, the Marxists and the socialists, how do they view generally what's happening now in the war, and what would they want to see?
What is the left wing think about the war right now in Israel?
Well, I guess there's the left wing, the centre left. I would say that the Marxists and the socialists are probably further to the left.
Yeah.
What's their view? Because I've spoken to a lot of people here. It's pretty broad. I think most people seem like centre left here. I have met a few radical left people.
Yeah.
What's a general consensus?
I don't know to speak in general. I can speak.
What's your view?
My view is that this war needs to stop.
At what cost?
At what cost? It's a big question. At what cost? But the war needs to stop, and we need to find a way to end it, to come to a deal, to finish it, and to change the regime in Gaza, and to have security for the people in Israel. And I hope so, security also for the people on the other side, for the Palestinians. And both of the nations need to live together and to find a way to compromise about territory. And both of the sides needs to respect the other side. And this is my view, and I hope that someday we'll get it.
So Marxists in Australia, they wouldn't have such a, tame kind of rational approach or even conversation about Israel. Mm-hmm. They will say that Israel should be wiped off the map. Okay. That's the...
Well, they are not my... שותפים? They are not my partners.
And look, I understand because it's not a reality to them. It's about a conflict on the other side of the world. They say the same things about Australia, but for Australia it doesn't really matter because it's not a real tangible threat. You're obviously living it here. But a lot of people here are telling me that they want that. They want to end the war now. They want Israel to withdraw, bring the soldiers out. They want the hostages back, mm-hmm. and they want Hamas to essentially lay down their arms to relinquish power in Gaza. Yeah. To me, that's like wanting a cake and eating it, because if you leave Gaza, then by default Hamas is going to regain full power.
Unless you can bring someone else to rule over Gaza.
But you need that first.
You need to find some power, some serious power that can take charge of Gaza after Hamas is gone.
So I don't think that's so different than many of the people on the right that I've spoken to. That's what's so fascinating to me in Israel. Firstly, it's a robust democracy that everybody is willing to engage in political discourse in a lot more open manner than we see around the world. Okay. And I think I think that is a light onto nations. I think people in Australia should watch this and take, encouragement that it is possible to do that. But I can't remember what we were. I just had a brain fart. Okay. But so on the right. Sorry, yeah. So on the right, I'm hearing people saying exactly that. Okay. We need a third party to come in.
No, the right wing.
There are people on the right that have told me similar things. It's the same idea, because everybody seems to want the same two things. One, hostages all back, and Hamas, whichever way you can figure it out, whether it's beating them, because there is no imaginary third power that's willing to do it. There is no power right now. So until you get that power, you have to continue to fight.
We needed to do this discussion 2 years ago when the war started. Everybody said, what will be the day after the war will end? And
what if you can't find that power? Nobody wants to take responsibility. What do you do?
That will be a really big, big, I don't know the word, but it will be very difficult for us to find a solution for the situation right now. I think that Hamas want us to not find a solution, and they want nobody to come to Gaza instead of them. This is my hope, that we will find, like the Palestinian Authority, maybe the Egyptians, I don't know. Someone will have to take charge. But if it's not going to happen, we're in deep shit.
What would you say to critics that would argue that these protests in general are giving Hamas the encouragement to keep fighting, because they feel like if they just hold off a bit further, in Israel itself, there's going to create so much division that the Netanyahu government's going to be forced to compromise with them and allow them to stay in power.
They always say that about everything that is a demonstration against the government.
Is there no truth to it? Do you not think that that's...
No, I think that I heard the hostages that came back and told everybody that this is what keep them going and keep them surviving. When they saw in the news where they're inside of Gaza, they saw the demonstrations and they knew that someone is thinking about them. And for us to be quiet and just tell the government, just keep doing what you're doing, it's not going to happen.
Okay. All right. Thanks, guys. Okay. Thanks for that.
Bye.
How you doing?
Hi, Avi, right?
That's the one, yes?
I love you.
Oh, thank you.
I love you, really.
Are you here for the protest?
No.
No.
I'm here to see you.
Oh, how did you...
No, I live not far away in another city, but I came to see you because I want to say I love you.
Oh, thank you. Did you just see the live stream or something?
Yeah. I said, oh my God, he's here. I have to say it.
In many places, I would only do live streams with a lot of security just so crazy people like you don't stalk me and hunt me.
Yeah, I know, but you see, this time, I guess it's not enough security.
Tell me, so how do you feel? How do you feel about?
Yeah, maybe I'll just go here. Okay.
How do you feel about these protests?
I think they're good people. I think they really care about the hostages, and everybody does. I think they're misled, and it's really, it's sad, and I will say annoying, but it's like the entire people, I feel it, and maybe I'm not representative, but I think many people are annoyed, but they keep silent because they understand that it's good people, that it's not like out of bad intentions, but it's hard.
Definitely feels like overseas it's having a negative impact on Israel.
And on Israel itself, it shows like division and it's war. It's not the time to say, like, it's like, okay, freedom of speech is great, but when it's war, you have to like shut up and stand behind your government and keep everything for later unless it's like super important. But it's...
They seem to think it is super important, and now is the time.
Of course, because their leaders know how to like spin the narrative. I think the leaders, the one who make all of this is different. Is more like bad intentions. But yeah, it's like what are they expecting? They say everything about these hostages, and I love them and I want them back. But what happens tomorrow if they like kidnap a school bus? What then? Also, again, like, will you kill one to get the other? What's like? Think if one of the hostages was the son of Netanyahu, for example, he would be removed. He cannot be a prime minister. It's too close. He will be too emotional. So you have to be cold in a way. So this is the opposite. This is emotional for them, not for the leaders. Again. Yeah.
That's actually quite a good observation that this is.
Yeah, and I've seen it like from week one. They said like you are in charge, you're responsible. Like it's a war. Why talk responsibility right now? It's like they were there from the beginning to spin the narrative. And not all the families of the hostages are the same, just so you know. But they're not being shown anywhere. Yeah.
Love it. There you go.
Okay. Next we have better security.
And in Israel, it does seem safe to walk around with a different political opinion.
Yeah.
Which I pointed out to what I am going to call a loony lefty, all the way to the left.
In the beginning, right?
Yeah.
Oh my God. She's
but,
like.
But the fact that you're able to stand around, have a conversation.
I keep my distance from people like that, so I won't have too much. I don't know. I will go crazy. I won't do anything, but it's like, what are you trying to do? I bet she's a communist or something, Marxist for sure.
She was something like that.
Of course.
I think she said she was a socialist, but...
Socialist is like... she wants it to sound like better, but okay.
Sure, but you know what? I think that it is encouraging. I'm inspired by Israel, once again, in the fact that I'm walking around, I'm asking questions that is super critical of these people's perspective on this, something you could not get away with in most Western countries. At a time of war, at a heightened emotional point.
You know why? Because we have a national emotion, like we feel like a people. And
That's why you're seeing Israeli flags, even on the left.
Yeah, because what the far left, very far left, wants to destroy in everywhere is this emotional, national emotion, like feel like a people. When you have a thing like that, you have less crime, and you have less crime here. Like murder rates are extremely low, even though you have terror attacks. And I think it's like 0.7, something like that.
We have machete attacks every day. We have home invasions.
We
have
US,
major
it's
problems.
Like 6.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying it's because we feel responsible for each other. It's good. We should work on that. We should make it grow.
Thank you, and thank you for coming to see me.
Yeah.
Really appreciate it. Here,
I
give
hope
me.
you're safe because it's a great country.
Yes,
And
we're
with
hoping
a
not to
great
lose it.
Accent. I love it.
Ah, thank you. I've been working on it for almost 40 years.
Oh, okay. Bye. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, let's talk to maybe a couple leaving. I actually want to know if a lot of them were at the protests prior to the. Let's see. Yeah, they're super friendly and they're more rational. Can I ask what the yellow flag is? What is a yellow flag?
Support on the hostages. No.
Oh, you don't want to? Okay, no problem. Camera shy. I didn't know what did he think when I put the mic in? Oh, yellow's a hostage. Okay. Cool.
You know, the pin is from,
Yeah.
from the Iranian hostages and under revolution.
Hey, sir, can I ask you what you're doing here?
Protesting.
What are you asking for?
To stop the war and bring the hostages back home.
Do all the Israelis? Is it across the board that people want to stop the war and bring the hostages home? Are there really many Israelis that want the war to continue?
Many. I'm not sure we are the majority, but for sure many of us.
No, I mean, but even on the other side, do they not want the war to end as well?
No, they don't. They prefer to be Sparta. You heard our Prime Minister. Their vision is to be Sparta.
I noticed you have an Israeli flag in protests. So in Australia, they portray your protests as almost aligned with the pro-Palestinian protests around the world, which is clearly not necessarily true.
For sure not. We are Israeli patriots and fighting for our country while having a crazy government, totally lunatic, that you see what happened to us in the last 2.5 years. Terrible.
Did you used to go to the protests before October 7, the reform protests?
I did. But I think on one hand, everything is related, and on the other side, there are hostages that we forgot. We have to bring them home without any connection to anything. But it's the same government, you cannot ignore it.
Even if it includes Hamas staying in power, bring the hostages home?
We will have the opportunity to do whatever we need to do afterwards. Nothing will stop us. The basic issue is that the government does not want to bring them home back. That's the reason, because it will stop the war. And then they will fail and fall, and there will be elections. They want to maintain the war forever. Everybody for his own reasons.
Thank you so much. Thanks for your time.
Where are you from?
Australia. Thank you. So again, I threw that one question because I was interested, Rukshan, in whether they were part of that protest movement. In fact, I'm going to do this for the camera. So I threw back to that question to this gentleman as well, whether he was a part of the protest movement prior to October 7, because I do get the You're messing with the lights while I'm talking? You happy with it now? Let's go somewhere brighter. I just want to make that point, which I can probably cut in. In these lights. I was just trying to be naturally to move on.
The building behind you is a bit dark.
Oh, okay, all right.
I'll get the people walking in the background, so
Yeah.
stand here.
Yeah.
Come down here so you look taller.
Okay, let's do it. So I'm throwing to that question, asking whether they were part of the protest movement prior to October 7, because I do get the general sense that a lot of these people, what's driving them, not all of them, like everybody cares about the hostages. The entire country almost cares about the hostages. But the thing that's driving this movement is actually left-wing politics, people that have never liked Bibi Netanyahu and he can never seem to do anything right in their eyes. I don't think they realise what kind of impact that's having globally on Israel. I'll just cut it in, I might use it. I don't think they understand what kind of impact that's having globally on Israel's reputation. This little bit of political point scoring at the cost of Israel. I'll just do a few more until there's... Sure. Yeah, we'll do some more.
So something funny I was thinking of. You see, like both the sides, both the political sides are basically fighting over who is more patriotic about the country.
Yeah, yeah.
So everyone thinks that like the right wing is more patriotic because they want to end the war with us winning, and the left side is like we're patriotic and we want what is best, what we believe is best for Israel. So that is like so totally different from the left and the right and probably every other place in the world right now.
Absolutely. And again, like I think it's really, it's kind of, it gives you a really good insight into the Israeli political landscape to see a protest like this and to see how the different sides and how even the Marxists speak here in comparison to Australia. It's fascinating. It probably doesn't make as riveting TV as an Australian left-wing protest because that shit gets hectic. But this, everybody's nice. Everybody's engaging. I haven't had one person attack me for the questions, even though I clearly have a completely different view on the conflict and their kind of weird, delusional view on how to end this war.
All right.
Do you want to get a bit of B-roll of Hostage Square?
I might get some B-roll.
So this was set up. So this was set up straight after October 7, wasn't it? Hostage Square almost immediately.
Yes. This area, it became from the judicial reform square.
Oh, it started here. Oh, it was a judicial reform square first.
They were protesting.
Oh, that's meant to be a tunnel.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go through there. This is like, wow. This gives you the sense of what it is to be in a Hamas tunnel. Did the government build this, or was this the protest movement?
I believe it's the city.
Oh, the city, yeah.
The city is very helpful for the process.
Just imagine being in something like this for 2 years.
What was that?
They've got speakers with the sounds to try, I guess, give you an idea of what hostages would hear when they're in the tunnels. Look, it is a horrible existence, but it goes to the point that quite articulate conservative lady who hunted us down, what she said is, and it's true, and I made that point quite early on, is that it's emotional politics. And that's what left-wing politics is globally. Israel is not immune to the emotional politics of the left. And I do think that there are elements within Israeli politics on the left, the leadership, the people that were leading the protests prior to October 7, that are using this issue and injecting that emotional politics. But then when you kind of try to dig a little deeper, the average person who's here for all the right reasons and they believe it, they come off delusional because they can't answer the basic issues with their belief system, their view on how to end this war. Let's keep getting a bit more B-roll, and you can see up there, that's actually the timer from when the attack started, and that's from the minute the attack started, I think.
So it says, I don't know if you guys can see on the camera, 714 days, is that correct?
Yeah, 714 days, 16 hours, 16 minutes and 29 seconds.
Just get you guys some B-roll of where we are at Hostage Square here in Tel Aviv, Israel. Thanks for joining in on the live stream, guys. We will check soon if there was any super chats, and we'll probably find a spot to read those out from. So we'll have a look at that soon. If you have any questions for Avi, from the interviews you've been watching over the last, we've been streaming for 2 hours straight. So put them in super chats and we'll answer those questions if you have any.
What is she? What is she? What is she? It's interesting how, 10,000 people, I would guess, can come and gather so calmly and peacefully in one place and then disperse so
I mean, it's very clean.
Seamlessly.
It's very clean. It's not like a left-wing protest in Australia.
No.
They haven't trashed the place. They haven't burnt anything.
No.
And we didn't see any police interactions really today.
No.
There might be in other ones, I don't know, but from what we saw, very amicable and peaceful.
I think some of the radicals on the ends where he says they don't actually come to I think they do tend to clash with police, but you see the vast majority of people that are coming to these protests are not that. Hello, how you doing?
Just asking, wondering where are you from?
We're from Australia.
Australia, far away.
Yes, very far away. Are you just here as part of the protest, or are you an organizer?
No, but I'm a very old peace activist. And unfortunately, my country is total lost by our Prime Minister and his gangsters. And so...
So when you say you're a peace activist, I know a lot of the victims...
Since I was 17, it's many years ago. I was against the occupation, against the settlements, and it's not that I'm supporting terror organization, but they are terror organization, and we are a democracy, the only democracy in the Middle East, and we are not anymore.
You don't think we're a democracy? Doesn't tonight prove that Israel is a democracy?
No, not anymore. We have in the last 2 years a regime that is using the democracy tools in order to destroy democracy. And the problem is this, we don't have enough strong opposition to fight them. So slowly, they are destroying every democracy rule. And of course, we're almost sure that our Prime Minister, the traitor, has given money in the round way to Hamas, and the army didn't defend our citizens. So I lost my faith in the army, in the country, and we are all in a big depression, and we feel like our existence is like, I'm afraid we will be like Rhodesia, South Africa for sure, because of all the international sanction, which is rightly, I think.
Let me ask you, a lot of the victims of October 7, especially in the kibbutzim around Gaza, they were all peaceniks as well. Many of them have shifted their views.
Yeah, but they were attacked by a terror organization, not by country. We have a peace accord with Egypt, with Jordan. We were going to make hopefully peace with some countries in the Gulf, but this government has ruined everything, damages everything just in order to stay in power. It's like Hungary, it's like becoming
Did you think that Israel should have responded at all to the October 7 attack?
I'll tell you one answer. The older son of our Prime Minister is sitting in a spa in Florida for the last 2 years. If he would be kidnapped and hostages, I give you 1 day and 2 days, and the whole deal was, first of all, we would have changed the hostages, and then maybe we attack them. But to attack them while the hostages are there, especially now, the leftists, they looks like, What shall I tell you? Since the 7th October, we have the Israeli Holocaust, by all means. And it's very hard to, I mean, I was born here, my parents were born here, my grandfather escaped from Europe to build Palestine, and he was escaping from, the Nazis. And now I have this surviving feeling that maybe if it's all fail, our last efforts against this government and for a settlement, and it's too late in the world, because we will always have this black stain on our history, what we did to children and women in the other side.
Let me ask you, you mentioned if Yair Netanyahu was kidnapped, then there would be a deal very quickly. But I guess the counter-argument is that that's why a Prime Minister's son, if he was kidnapped, that would be a conflict of interest, because it's emotional, it's coming at it from an emotional perspective instead of a strategic.
No one of the ministers that we have now, no one of their kids is serving physically in Gaza Strip. If they want to conquer Gaza Strip, let them go with themselves, with all these hundreds of thousands of yeshiva and Haredik who don't serve even one day in the army. I'm not talking, there are religious Zionists that are going and they are killed there. But right now, we sacrificed our sons in order to conquer what? To bomb what? And we killed the hostages with our forces. Do you understand?
So back to my first, was
They're
it?
not involved personally. They don't care. They are monsters who don't care about the hostages. They don't care about. They say first we conquered Gaza, then we make a real estate there with the Americans. I mean, you're looking at these people, and you think I'm in a nightmare, endless nightmare. It's a movie, horror movie.
So Israel should withdraw. Does it matter if Hamas retains power?
Listen, there were a few deals that were very reasonable, temporarily, okay? And they were rejected and damaged by our government.
America says it was Hamas that was rejecting
America say, come on, Trump wake up one day like that and one day like that.
Do you trust Hamas more than you trust the Israeli government or the American government?
They are both my enemies, but these are my enemies, and these were supposed to protect our people, women and children. It's not even only soldiers that were kidnapped, okay? And Gaza is our Vietnam, remember that.
I was here right after October 7. I think the vast majority of Israelis didn't even believe. No. The vast majority, I think people were in shock in that period when I came. But nobody believed that any hostages would be released alive. And
of course we hoped. We could release thousands of Palestinians from terror attack. What does it matter? They have thousands more. You see? It's not that you're making a change. Do you understand?
So you would happily release
all of them.
Palestinian terrorists.
It was my family, of course.
But that's why there is a separation of power between somebody that has a conflict of interest. That's why you don't want somebody to run the country from emotions.
Personally there, but each one of them is part of my blood, of my tribe. Do you understand? And I all the time thinking, and what if it was my relative there? And they became our family. All these people, we are sharing the pains, the horror, the nightmares. So of course, first of all, and it's written in the Bible, in our Jewish Bible, first of all, you have to release hostages and then do what you would have to do.
Hamas obviously has to agree to releasing the hostages.
They did agree in the but the price that we are needed to give them is not accepted by our regime.
Are you talking about the 3 stages under Biden? Is that the deal?
It doesn't matter one stage. Now it's too late. The leftists probably didn't survive, our bombs, our attacks. And it's like unbelievable. What do I care if my army can attack Iran and can attack Yemen, and they can't release the hostages, and they couldn't protect our population in the Green Line on the 7th of October? What does it help me? Do you understand?
What would you say to critics that think that these kind of protests, is exactly what Hamas wants. They want
It's
the division in
coming
Israel.
by our poisoning regime because they want to stay in power in any price. More than 900 soldiers were killed. For what? What happened? Which victory do we have there? Every time they declare about another operation and another operation, 6 soldiers were dying for whom? For this government? We don't have any victory there. We have a big failure.
Did you used to go to the protests before October 7?
Before, of course, always.
So you went to the judicial reform protest?
Against the, how do you say, the revolution they wanted to make in the law system. And I went against Netanyahu. I even can't say his name because it's like big pollution in my throat. I went to demonstration against him since he was in power in 1997. And unfortunately, everything that I was afraid he will does to this happened, even more than I ever could fantasize.
So what would you say to people who think that this movement is really just an anti-Netanyahu movement and it's not about the hostages and it's not about...
No, of course, it's just, first of all, for the hostages, to support the families, because wherever I come to here or to other protests, I think I'm coming there to support the families. What if it was me?
What about the families that support the war? There are families that support the war. What about them?
First of all, they're a minority. Second of all, a lot of them wake up after 2 years of the hostages, yeah? And they found out that they lied to them. There was no real effort to release their relatives, their family.
Do you love Israel, or are you against the Zion? Okay.
Of course, I was born here. I told you, my parents were born here. I was raising up as a full, proud Zionist. And it doesn't matter, there is no difference between loving the country. Whatever I protest is because I do care. I have children and grandchildren here. I do care about this country. But right now, I'm telling you, it's like a horror movie since 7th of October.
Thank you for your time. Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Your name?
Avi.
Avi. Okay. My name is Batya.
Batya.
It means God's daughter.
God's daughter.
Yeah, Batya in Hebrew.
Ah.
And I feel there is no God for us in the 7th of October. If there was God, He wouldn't have let this happen, the Israeli Shoah or the Jewish Shoah in the Second World War. So, but never give up.
Thank you for your time.
Thanks.
Thank you.
So it's another one that does say that she was protesting Netanyahu prior to October 7, and that's what I've suspected between these protests, is that a lot of these people are very anti-Netanyahu, and this is just another issue in which they can protest the government. Do they care about the hostages? Of course. I'm not questioning that. But is it only about the hostages, or are the hostages a vehicle for them to be able to protest Netanyahu? 100%. Was that on me that whole time?
Yep.
All right.
We can use that one, but yeah.
That was because it went nicely.
We'll check some super chats soon as well before we end up.
Yeah.
But you're going to do a few more interviews?
Should we
film some of this?
Rebel News, yes.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't know that you are here around.
No, we're just visiting for 1 week.
1 week?
Yeah.
You're from Canada, right?
Canada's our boss. I'm the Australian.
Australian.
Yeah. So we're the Australian team.
So what are you looking for now?
We honestly, we were here at the protest, which was huge. Do you come to these protests?
I'm not coming to these protests because it's causing damage to the hostages.
In what way?
I will tell you really, because this is weakening the strength of Israel. And we need to show strength and not weakness by, we need to conquer Gaza, defeat Hamas, and this will come. This is protest against the government of Israel. Doesn't help anything. The protest should be against Hamas. They are holding the hostages, not against the government of Israel. And this is what the protest is about. Look, there's no Israeli that doesn't want to hostages back. No one. But the problem is that people naively don't understand that this, what they are doing here, is protesting against the government, is not helping anything. The government wants very much to return them.
I've noticed everybody I've asked here if they used to go to the protests against Netanyahu before October 7, they all did. I feel like they care about the hostages, but I feel like it almost is just a continuation of the anti-Netanyahu.
Of anti-Netanyahu. And there are many people that are using this as a vehicle, as an excuse to demonstrate the government that they are taking the hostages as a legitimate cause, which is a legitimate cause. So I welcome, you see here on the screen, they do kind of slichot for, that's praying by all means, of course, but not protesting against the government. We need to be united at this time and not divided. And even if, I understand that there are people that are against Netanyahu, they are against his government. But this time he's the prime minister. He wants very much to defeat him. We have to stand behind him. And this is what, it's unfortunate that these people are doing this, that it's causing their harm and their loved ones that are not all of them. There are people among those that are hostages there that are against it. But they are a minority, unfortunately.
And I have asked them, because surely this is what Hamas wants, and this must be encouraging them to continue fighting, because they know that if they sustain it, then the government of Israel may fall or may be forced to negotiate a deal where they remain in power.
Absolutely. I think that many people outside of Israel understand it. Here it's about emotions, and the emotions are obvious, but you cannot run this from an emotional stance. And also the Bibi Netanyahu as prime minister has to be disconnected from the emotional side. Everything has to be considered as for the whole nation and for the sake of the defense of Israel and the safety of Israel entire country. With all the we all have feelings about the hostages. It's terrible, it's devastating, but to surrender is not the way. It's not causing them even any.
I got to say, one of the things, and it's one of the most beautiful things I see in Israel, is the fact that you can have political differences. People are free to say what they are. That's what makes this a light onto other nations, is the fact that I've spoken to people across the political spectrum today, and almost everyone throughout it all were cordial and willing to engage, which is not something we see, especially around this subject, anywhere around the world. The unfortunate part is that this group is often used, especially in Australia and Canada, they're used to legitimize the anti-Israel movement. They point at these people here, who most of them love Israel, and they point at them and they say, you see, there are people protesting Israel in Israel.
Yeah, in Israel. And this is again weakening the state of Israel. So you are shooting yourself in the foot. That's what they are doing. Very clear.
Thank you, sir. Take care. Stay safe.
I don't know if you heard this from many people, but I wanted to bring this side.
No, it's mostly been people here, but we have had.
Well, here the people that usually that come here, they are. I'm saying they really want their intentions are good, but some of them not. They are using this as a vehicle, the opportunities.
I think it's pretty clear if you spend some time here, you can see that.
Yeah, you're not from here, I know. Okay, thank you very much.
God bless. Thank you.
Thank you for visiting us.
Thank you.
I like the Rebel, by the way.
I'm
from America.
Where are you in America?
In Alabama.
Alabama. What a weird place for an Israeli, no?
Well, not so weird. It's business.
Okay.
No, not many, but there are reasons why I'm in Alabama.
Well,
but it's a good place. It's a Trump land.
Yeah, any Trump land is a good place for me.
Exactly.
See you, mate. I reckon let's read some super chats. We'll move over. I don't.
Go towards the cafe there and get a drink and read some super chats, or?
Yeah. Let's go. We'll do some. No. We can go do some super. Are there some super chats? I don't even know. It's what time is it in Australia now?
That's true. Australia. If you're watching from Australia, well done, guys. I think it'll be around 5 a.m.
One second. I forgot to retweet the. I tell everyone to share stuff and then I forget to. That's where I'm at. So I just. Just sit on that end table. How you going, man? Come here.
I make shit. My name's Kosha Dills.
This is Kosha Dills.
I'm a fucking rapper on a television show in America. I watch your shit all the time. We fucking love your shit. We respect the fuck out of it.
What's your thing?
Kosha Dills.
Kosha Dills. I think I've seen you on Instagram.
Yeah. I made a song called Al Jazeera. I do some stuff.
What are you doing here?
Huh? We wanted to show respect before Rosh Hashanah, like for the hostages, you know? I think everyone's getting ready for Rosh Hashanah and they start posting pictures of apples and honey, and I'm like, dude, there's 48 hostages left. Kind of, we need to like remember what it's all about.
So,
even myself.
Were you here for the protest, or you just here to pay your respects?
I'm here to pay my. No, I came for the protest. Or the rally. And now it's just like changing in multiple things. So I do document some of the stuff. There's definitely different opposing things to how it's supposed to be done, but respect to the families and respect the soldiers, and I want to make sure that no one else dies, and just want to come.
What's the protest to you? Because it's really interesting. We've spoken to a diverse range of people across the political spectrum. Something that I keep mentioning here, which is an inspiration to me, is how political discourse in Israel is, from what I can see, so open. You can have people from the left and the right, and just the conversation can flow as opposed to around the West.
In the West, it's A, B, and it's a college football game. I like Rutgers, you like Wisconsin, we're fighting, right? And here, they're saying, I like, listen, I'm okay with BB, Meretz, they're killing everyone, we need to stop the war, all the military need to stop signing up. But what is really interesting, what I experienced in Jerusalem, is that there's one guy dressing up, attached to handcuffs, and they're right behind the families that are 70, and everyone's going, and they're sort of welcome in the same place. They might not talk to each other, but it's not going to be what you see in your videos where somebody's attacking somebody, and they're like, hey, I'm Israeli, I disagree with the government and everything. They're like, not good enough, and you'll still get attacked. And what's happening in the West, essentially, is that those things can't exist. They're not allowed to exist. Here, you see, for instance, Ethiopian Jews, Christians, you have Druze, you have Palestinian Arabs, there's 2 million here, So there was recently 400 musicians against Israel. They decided we're all gonna stop our music streaming in Spotify. So of course I started streaming it, and then I sit next to my friends named Zion, who's black, Ethiopian, and a black guy named Shimon, who's a pretty Israeli name if you think of a Shimon or a Shlomo. And we're all like, yeah, what's going on? So it's almost here we discussed, we said, hey, I don't even actually know now what's going on in the West because I've been here since everything is happening.
So why did you come to the protest? Besides, was it, again, paying respects, or are you actually supporting the message of ending the war now?
I support the message of ending the war now, although it would be really outrageous of me to figure out how to end the war, being that I don't fight in the military or have ever run an army. I think it's kind of pompous and overblown to me. So, in some case, yes, in some case I really do come to pay respect, but I do also respect the people. I think here, at least in Israel, the difference is we all want to get to the same thing, to end the war. We don't want any innocent people to die. We don't want any Palestinians. So we want this thing to be over with, right? And we want to go back to covering whatever we were covering before.
Just not COVID, please.
But the thing is it's about the hostages.
Yeah. So, but this is what I've been talking to a lot of people tonight. Because
for us, outside the government, for the people, it's about the hostages. Like ultimately, I can't really control what the government is, but I care about the hostages, and I know the hostage families, and I know people who have been rescued. I know people that, you know, met Andre, I met a lot of these people. I met their girlfriends before they were in, and I was doing interviews here, and I'm missing the pizzazz, the strength of like everyone was here. We're exhausted, we're tired, we want it to end, and especially before Rosh Hashanah, like I wanted to film here before and see the energy of it. Like, what is it like going into the second holiday season without the hostages home and the families, you know?
So one of the things that, like, to me, I've been talking to people here, and everybody's saying, everybody from both sides is saying, like you said, that they want the hostages to be free. But when people here are saying they want the war to end now, and they're saying essentially the army needs to withdraw today, then you mean that Hamas is still going to retain power in Gaza?
Have that.
And so that's what's, like, to me, this is like...
You can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't have your cake and eat it too. I want to say that. And
so you're here, and you're here
I want
at the
every
protest.
soldier to live. I want every soldier to live. I perform shows for the army. I perform, and I love to perform for soldiers, because I also want the soldiers to live, and I want the least amount of people, innocent people, to die. And that's like my attitude in life, especially for Israel.
By the way, that's the way I described it. It's like your cake, and you want your cake and you want to eat it. And that's what I feel like a lot of these protests tended to be. A lot of the people here were just saying exactly what I'm hearing on the right. Release the hostages and no Hamas. But no Hamas means you've got to either defeat it or you've got some other authority.
We have to kill the people that are in, like, I talked to somebody yesterday, and I feel like he's like, we have to. You know, in Gilad Shalit, we gave back 1,000 prisoners for one person and his life, and he's gotten married and lived on. I'm like, 252 hostages taken. We're going to take over everything and to do everything to bring them back. And it's almost like as us as Israelis and American Israelis or Australian Israelis, or everyone sort of like, at this point, we need to take 24 hours off to re-navigate, like, how am I going to approach it? Because I might feel different about it tomorrow. And I see you, and I'm like, what? You have a really strong point. We have to go in. We have to stop it. But if you were here the other day, where we get missiles regardless, radicals are going to recruit. They are going to recruit and use every sort of piece of propaganda to recruit more people. Yeah. And if you're watching this at home, nothing anyone says to me about Israel will ever make me feel different about Israel, because I'm in Israel. And I see the people, and the only place that you can find a Palestinian selling kosher shawarma is in Israel. In America or Australia, you won't even be allowed into the restaurant. And I know, because I live in a place where there's Palestinians, and we're really not welcome. And I would eat there. And here, everyone kind of works together, and that's sort of the daily life that's not shown on the camera. And I was coming here, and I said, where are the cameras? They've all gone. And when I came here, there was 20 different cameras. And when they go on to the next story. So, like, not that I appreciate you still trying to figure out what's happening, because there's no one here, and I was like, oh my God, I watched. Well,
this protest is portrayed in Australia as almost an adjacent protest to the pro-Palestinian protests in Australia, which is
so insane.
So insane.
That is so insane. First off, I feel extremely sorry to any Australian who has to deal with people that tell them everything about Israel that have not even been here or actually navigate. Because I'm pretty well open, and I'm not even going to say I'm an extreme right or extreme. I'm pretty down to center. And this is the only conflict in the world that people make it like a football game. American football or whatever, or rugby, whatever. Like, it's the only thing where they're like, we're just going to pick this team. And I'm like, what does that do? Like, was that do? It's, I guess, the virtue signaling championships of the world. That's it. And I don't find many people that care. Like, I have to come here. You could literally give to the communities that were attacked. If you don't feel comfortable giving charity here, you could volunteer. Every single tent is from a village or kibbutz that was slaughtered, and they're here. And they're reduced to like being like a tent at a festival, trying to promote their thing, you know. So out of respect for them, they really appreciate it. Just like we appreciate it as creators when someone likes a video or stuff. But I get some of the best conversations at an Israeli protest because it's the only place where people vehemently disagree and hate Bibi and want to stop him, and other people are pro. I mean, they could still be in the same place and not attack each other physically.
That is my amazing takeaway tonight. I've never felt safer at a left-wing protest in my life.
No, they are literally one and another. And I asked, hey, what's happening here? And they're like, oh, these people say, Bibi's ruining everything. And there's people here like standing together, which is probably the most left wing. And they take the food, they bring it to the border. They're like, we need to get food to we need to get food to the Palestinians. And then there's going to be other people that say, well, there was food coming in from Jordan and that guy just killed 2 soldiers. And now we have to close that crossing because a Jordanian person in a truck bringing aid killed 2 soldiers. So it's like people don't understand that part, which I totally understand. And I totally understand people here being like, yo, let's feed people. Montana Tucker was just there with the GHF and she was feeding people. And you could come here. The thing is, if you're in Israel, you could help more. The people on the flotillas, I mean, they're basically going to be turned around, but I'm sure it's a really fun time to be sailing across the world. But if you want to change and help Palestinians or help Israelis, you could come here and do both and join any protest you want.
Are you saying you're suspicious of Greta Thunberg's intentions?
Listen, maybe she's going through sailing withdrawal. I don't understand. I do want to say that in Tunisia, I mean, I've played with fireworks my entire life before making content or rapping or anything, and we hear bombs here all the time, and that was not there's no drones attacking you. But come to Israel and you'll get a sandwich. I promise you.
Thanks, mate. Good to meet you, eh?
Shana tova.
Take care, brother. Thanks, bro. What was your thing again? Plug your thing.
Oh, Kosha Dills, KOSHADILLZ, and yeah, that's what I rap and. That I gotta make videos, and I have a film coming out called Bring the Family Home, and I made the most controversial film. It's about me going to American college campuses, advocating to free the hostages, and then I come back a year later, and premiering the film. We got canceled in Chicago, and no one even watched the film, and then everyone wrote about it, and this is the problem with our world. These protest movements are driven by canceling things and attacking people, and no one actually talks. They're afraid. And what happened was my film has already been in NPR and Hollywood Reporter. No one's seen it. It could be a horrible movie, but people are talking about it. People are trying to cancel existing within each other. And that's the only place that could happen is literally in Israel. Everywhere else, you're not welcome. They cut the world in half. That's why Israel's the democracy of the Middle East. It's not. You gotta remember, it's still the Middle East, so it's not perfect.
No democracy is, trust me, Australia's not a perfect system either.
Shout out to New Zealand, I went there.
Cut, not the Kiwis, not the... All right, we'll do this.
How long do you do it for?
We just got a few more days and we're done. Yeah, we're just rushing around.
I watched some of your videos.
Let's go.
Yeah, fucking A.
Thank you.
I mean, you just keep. I really got tired of doing short form content, so I wanted to make a film so that people could learn who I am.
And nobody saw it.
No, it's coming out now. So I'm launching a Kickstarter and stuff.
Amazing.
So. They keep canceling it every time he does it, and it just gets like banned.
That's just anything.
That's the game.
What's your? I just know you use Rebel News. What's your name?
Avi Mini.
Avi. Okay. Are Israeli? Family's Israeli?
My mom, yeah.
Fuck yeah, dude. Are you filming, doing any other stuff?
Yeah, we've been doing heaps. So like this is also live, but we're...
Oh, we're on the live?
Yeah.
They're requesting a freestyle from you.
Okay, should I do one? Oh yeah, all right.
Why don't you tell us, Rukshan?
I'm telling now.
So what should I shout out? What's your name? Rukshan. I saw. I didn't see you. I saw him first, and I was like, "Is this like Indian or the Bangladesh?" I was just like seeing you, and I was like, Sri Lanka, right? Okay. All right. No, but I saw you, and I was like, "Wait, where is it?" Okay.
We gotta open it like this. Welcome to the Israel.
Oh my God! Now they gotta cancel me. All right, so we're on. Okay, ready? Okay. I got incredible views and incredible views. This is Chi with the Rebels. It's incredible news. I mean, whether you be on the right or the left, I'm on a Twitter page, on the mic, it's ready, except, okay, it's black and red when the rap is fresh and deals like this attract to a fascist twist. All right, I'm interesting, so I hope y'all cats listening on live stream. Hope someone actually give a shit. Imagine if you was in the middle of the protest, putting the mask on, and now you're so vexed. Rotten apple in the life, and it's so fresh. Locked up, and you take an Instagram like deals on the microphone. Give a damn hype. I don't care if you live in that and look in that light, but know that people put a sipa on that rhymes with please don't put a kafia on your face so other people see it. And it's rock deals on the microphone. I'm ready just to stop on a ill with an actual poem. You know, my whole freestyles bring the family home. I had a song called Ceasefire, yeah, Mamma Mia, watermelon mix, avatiach, on the microphone spaced out, on the diach sober 21 years, on the microphone a freak not. Anyway, something, yeah, I be into you, and I'm in the news. Thank you for the interview. I hope the people at home feeling really cool, and everybody else, I turn the haters up to molecule. All right, there we go.
There you go, yeah.
That was the first. Thanks, brother.
Yo, it's our first.
Bye.
Bye. Yo, Shana Tova. Yeah, Shana Tova. That's what we really came, man. I was just hanging out with my best friend. And that's what the cool thing about Israel is you never know what's going to happen. And yes, Her Tel Aviv, amazing.
Her Tel Aviv, for women who made Aliyah to Israel, Her Tel Aviv.
Aliyah rhymes with, I don't got a job.
All right, guys.
Yo.
See you. Nice to meet you guys.
Man, I'll drop you or we'll clip.
Yeah, shoot me an Insta
Yes,
message.
dude, great.
All right, brother.
Nice.
All right.
See you, bro.
Nice to meet you. See you later. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. All right, let's take a seat somewhere. We'll go over to the side, I think. Yeah?
Let's go to there's chairs there.
I don't want to sit in the middle of hostage square and doing super chats. We'll go over to the side.
Fair call.
And then we'll wrap it up. I think we're good.
Yeah.
I think we've got heaps. That was a pretty good mix.
Yeah.
What time is it in Melbourne?
Time in Melbourne.
People are going to start tuning in now because it's...
Guys, you missed out on the freestyle. It's a lot better than what Avi normally does, so that was entertaining. I don't know, you should let some freestyle. I've cut the mics already.
Oh.
No,
You like my music? We'll just sit here to the side. I feel like it's kind of inappropriate to
Let's
sit in
find
the
a
middle.
chair. There's a chair up there, I think.
Okay, let's go up there. And then I reckon we will pull it
So
out.
look, we've been live streaming for about almost 3 hours now. And today, guys, it's actually been a very good stream. No problems whatsoever. In the heart of Tel Aviv.
Everyone's behaved, even the internet.
Internet is behaving. So that's good. What do you reckon? Those chairs there?
Yeah. Yeah, we can sit on that. That's fine. It's the time, you can see the numbers. I doubt there's going to be too many super chats, but let's read it because there's only
my phone as well.
On this YouTube.
Just in case.
It'll be interesting to look at the stats. We'll look at Restream after to know what that time does, but I think this is going to cut up into a really good report.
Yeah, I think there was a couple of people that watched throughout the whole live stream, so they would have got a lot out of that.
All right, I got one super chat from Mr. Zero. Says, Israel fights terrorists. It's not genocide. See Rwanda's 1 million death in 100 days for an X of the latter. Meanwhile, anti-Semitism in Europe up only because of the same Muslim illegals that are overrepresented in all crime stats. We take that as a comment, and I think it's a pretty reasonable assessment. You could tell this was a crazy time. Oh wait, I'm doing it from 1 second. I've got to jump onto it. Have you got any there?
No, my super chatters are all asleep.
Bro, it's like a crazy time.
It's good to know they're probably...
Guys, if you're watching this back, IsraelUncut.com if you want to support our mission here in Israel, which is literally to talk to everyone from all sides about not just the conflict, about everything.
Yeah, and that's one of the criticisms being like from those people that criticize what we do regardless of what we show. We've actually been able to show, I think today, Israel Uncut. There are people in this country who vehemently disagree with the actions of the government.
Totally.
To the extent of, if you missed the start of this live stream, guys, we had a woman who said that she believes in Hamas. Everything Hamas says more than what she believes in what the Israeli government says. So there is a multitude of views in this country. And I think the misrepresentation of Israel as this pariah state where everyone is genocidal or has these kind of extreme views, once you come to this country and start talking to people, it is very much a thriving democracy. Even though these guys here reckon that a lot of the, like that lady you spoke to at the end of the peace, Nick, she was saying that they're gangsters and thugs in the government. So, I mean, people have extreme views.
Yeah, but the common thread between every single person that I got to ask, so there was a few of them at least, whether they were protesting the Netanyahu government prior to October 7,
yes,
they all said yes, which to me confirms my suspicion that yes, all these people care about the hostages. You can't take that away from them, because I think almost everyone in this country cares about the hostages. But the driving force for this protest movement is their hatred of the Netanyahu government. And that's fine, they're free to have that, but I think it's important that people know that.
Yeah, I think it's akin to maybe for the Australian audience, the COVID protests as a freedom movement, now moving on to the issue of mass immigration.
Yeah.
And you're seeing the same people
Yeah.
with almost the same views, also the anti-government views, changing now topics.
Yeah.
Because they feel it's the same kind of continuation.
It's another way to target the government.
Yeah, and again, like you said, it's slightly different here because I have not heard anyone from any political side in Israel that we've spoken to that does not support bringing back the hostages home. Like,
Yeah.
that's what they all want. So
Yeah.
I agree with you that
Yeah.
everyone wants that. It's just these people believe that to do that, they have to topple the government.
The radicals were the best, I gotta say. I
Which
prefer
radicals?
talking the radicals
The Marxists?
more than
The nice
no,
Marxists? No.
that Marxist was like
Man,
it's
if the Marxists in Victoria
Melbourne
were
were
like that,
I'd
we
be
would be safe without any security.
Yeah.
These Marxists don't want to beat you up and kill you.
No.
They're happy to talk to you.
No, it was chill. And then when you point out like the Marxists in like I wasn't here to kind of confront the Marxist ideology, but I found it very interesting that a Marxist here and a self-proclaimed socialist or whatever he is just like a regular dude that's willing to engage in political discourse.
Yeah.
And with somebody that he could clearly see has a completely different view.
Some of the comments are saying beforehand, I saw that there have been violent interactions with police and protesters. Is that
There has. There is a small group here, which are the radicals, which is what I was waiting to see if we hang around the edges. But I just don't think they came out tonight. I don't think they came out tonight. There is a small group that do fight the police, but it's clearly not the majority of this protest movement. So Bass Line Benny earlier said your mic was too low. I think that's when your mic was off.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, Bass Line, but thank you for the super chat. David Mason says, God bless Israel, the IDF and Jewish people everywhere. Thank you for your super chat and your support and your love. David, really appreciate it. Mr. Zero says, long live Israel and F Hamas. We need to stand with the one free democracy within an Islamic pile of something. Greetings to Israel from Switzerland. Listen, I think if there's one major takeaway from today is that Israel is more of a thriving democracy than many of it, certainly Australia.
Yeah.
You can't get away with this freedom of political discourse and opposing views in Australia. You can in Israel.
Yeah.
So those you clowns in Australia that think that that condemn Israel as an anti-democratic state while living in Australia where people literally get attacked violently for their opposing views. Wake up, come here.
But I think it's important that the person that your super fan that stalked you and found you on the streets of Israel, which is concerning if we were somewhere else.
I said to you, I'm not
she
worried
made a
here.
good point. It's the fact that everyone is connected by a sense of community.
Yep.
I
And that's why you see Israeli flags. That's why you see that
So,
patriotism
I mean,
on all sides.
That's a really important point to drive home, because I think that's what allows democracy to function. What we're seeing right now in the West, countries like Australia, is we have certain demographics which aren't really gelling or vibing with the general sense of democracy in the country of Australia. They want to assert themselves, and we have the government now folding. So you can't have these peaceful gatherings and protests because you have a side that says, actually, these people are our enemies, and we have to, not allow their voices to be heard. Here, we're hearing all the different voices, and it's refreshing for sure.
From this I know says, I've really appreciated the stream. Incredible opportunity to hear where these people are coming from, even if they are naive. Thank you all. I've got to say, you know, I came tonight with zero expectations, not knowing how it would play out at all, not knowing how I would be received, because, dude, I've been going to left-wing protests, I've been going to all protests for close to a decade now. And, you know, when I go to a right-wing protest in Australia, up until recently, up until October 7, I guess, but almost every protest, until the most recent protest, I'm always welcomed and, you know, celebrated. Whatever COVID protest was always, majority people were celebrating. When I went to a left-wing protest, I get attacked. Recently, obviously, we've got the Nazi element that also try to attack us. I didn't know what to expect here. I didn't know, like, what the left, how they would accept or take being questioned with the same sort of line of questioning that I would give at a left-wing protest in Australia.
Yeah.
And I guess if you're looking at me and you're wondering how I am, you know, I give what I get. People here were respectful and wanted to have genuine political discourse, and that's what I gave. Yeah. And I challenged their ideas, and I think that some of them are delusional, and I think that some of them, whilst they believe in the, you know, care about the hostages, of course, but it's also just an avenue for them to shit on the government.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, definitely the Israeli left that I've seen here today, they're able to get their point across without screeching and screaming. And,
isn't that refreshing?
Trying to block your camera, sticking out umbrellas. Like, they're just able to get their point across. And that's all it takes sometimes. Like the left in Australia, I don't think they have any idea in terms of these arguments. They just hate Israel. And that's evident. So this is the difference between pure hate and a, you know, you say delusional, but they're making constructive arguments based on their political differences.
100%. I'm saying delusional because I think if you break it down, it doesn't actually add up. It doesn't stack up, and they're being slightly dishonest in, like, I think they're lying to themselves. The fact is that you've always hated the government, so there's nothing that this government could do that would satisfy you, and you've just found something that brings people together again to protest that government. But that's it. That's all from me. I reckon we can end this stream. Guys, thank you for tuning in tonight. Really appreciate it. I know that it's early and some of you will just be waking up and joining the stream now, so you can go back and watch the last few hours. I think it's been hugely eye-opening. It's been eye-opening for me on the ground here. And if you support our mission here in Israel, israeluncut.com, you can help cover those costs. It's been huge trip, but I've certainly learnt a lot, and this is your first time in Israel, so I'm sure
I keep learning a lot.
You keep learning.
Like, this is my first time in Tel Aviv. Obviously, Jerusalem was an experience, and this has been a different experience. But yeah, Israel, guys, I think if you're an armchair person that's just talking about this country, I don't think you have all the facts. You've got to come here. And if you're in Australia, it's a country you can travel to for sure and see for yourself. I think that's the best way to do it. I think.
What was your expectation? I talked about what was your expectation coming into tonight's protest? Because you've covered protests, the left, the right, and everything in between in Australia.
Yeah.
What was your expectation coming to a protest against the government
because I
here?
went to the protest at Bibi Netanyahu's in front of his residence in Jerusalem. I saw that the left here is slightly different. So I didn't expect anything too radical in the sense of the way that they would carry themselves, you know. And I think this is also a respectful type of demonstration because it's all centered around the hostages.
Yeah.
So people's demeanor is very different. You have the families of the hostages speaking.
That's true.
You have a lot of the things to remember them, and also there's prayers happening as well. It's coming up to like a significant holiday in the next couple of days here in Israel. So it's all those things combined. I think people are very respectful. So look, I would, as a normal person that covers these things, I would love to go to a Antifa-style protest in Israel and see it firsthand. But it's refreshing to see that, to see democracy in action, because this is what you want to see, regardless of what you think is happening in the war. To see like democracy kind of working in a way is good in terms of protest and free speech.
Yeah, and we discussed it before because we were saying we were slightly surprised about the demeanor outside Netanyahu's residence.
Yeah.
But I was questioning whether that's because they were just small numbers. What will happen when you have, like tonight, 10,000 of them?
Yeah.
And it turns out it was literally that, just times 1,000 or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, there's no way that anyone should legitimately believe that the protesters are here in any shape or form like the pro-Palestinian protesters.
They're not aligned
you
with
see around
them
the world.
at
This
all.
is something totally separate. These are people who love their country, they are worried about the hostages, and they have political differences, but there's nothing here that is like the overall sentiment of the pro-Palestinian movement, which is very anti-Israel and hostile to this nation even existing. I don't believe these people believe in that because, like you said, there's so many Israeli flags here. So they believe in the state of Israel, most of them. Maybe not that lady at the start. I'm questioning her. Like she was questioning you. She came in and she was telling the other people, don't talk to this guy. I think if Avi spent enough time in Israel, all the lefties here would have figured out who he is and he wouldn't be able to walk around so easily.
No, I think, yeah, but even them.
Yeah.
Like even
they
them,
were good.
even them, which they were the most radical element, and even when they got upset, and even when they had their little crew around them, they were not the same.
Yeah.
They were not like the insane. They were insane for a different. They were still insane, the political worldview, but they weren't violent.
Yeah, that makes a difference.
Makes a massive difference because you can engage until the point where she had enough because she realized that her insanity was not cutting through. On that note, thanks for tuning in.
Just both our mics. Let me just switch to the wide camera and we'll finish off. You can say goodbye.
Oh, how'd the mics die?
Just this battery just died, just now.
Ah.
Literally just now.
Alright, I'll give my parting message.
Yeah, go for it.
Can they hear me?
They can hear you.
Guys, thanks for tuning in. Make sure to smash that like button, help the algorithm. Then share this feed, let people see what these protests, raw, unedited, live, what they're really like and who's attending and why. And make sure to smash the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you never miss a live even at 2 a.m. God bless.
Thanks, guys. I'm really tired. Avi is gonna bring out his card now and buy me food and drinks.